Okay. I have no idea how the internet is going to respond to me watching videos. But I'll try to give that a whirl today. Whether it's going to work or not, I have no idea. We'll see. I went to the grocery earlier and then bought mushrooms. I bought a lot of them. Okay, 0 frames dropped so far, so it looks like we're more or less okay for the time being. What kind? Just your ordinary mushroom, like stem and top kind that you use on pizzas, stuff like that. Although I did get 4 cans of sliced portobello mushrooms. I wanted to try those out. What am I doing today? I was gonna watch videos, but my download rate is really bad today. Like my upload is like 40. My upload is like 40 megabits per second, but my download is 2. So whether or not I'm actually going to be able to do it, I don't know. Welcome to the street. Yes. Said that correctly. Nailed it. Oh, look at that. Edie is streaming The Quarry. Aren't those games terrible these days? Yeah, I hope it's not the return of crappy internet either. But that is the nature of things. Oh yeah. Since my brother was over here briefly yesterday, it makes me think that he did something. Because most of my family members are stupid. They're very stupid. Yeah, what was the first game that they released? If this is the same group of people that I'm thinking of. Haven't they released like 4 or 5 games that are basically all the same game? You know, these sort of walking around cinematic, try to save everyone style games? Was Until Dawn their first one? Let's check. Yeah, I'm a beautiful gem. Yeah, I hope you guys aren't actually experiencing any internet problems on your end. I have dropped 0 frames so far, but we'll see. The name of the company is Supermassive, I think. Supermassive Games. Give me a list. Okay. Oh, they worked on Little Big Planet DLC as their first thing. Huh, weird. And Sackboy's prehistoric moves? Of course, of course. Looks like their first game was a Doctor Who The Eternity Clock, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, but their first game that's similar to the things that they're known for now was Until Dawn. That's what it was. Wait, I thought there was more than that. Was it really only Until Dawn? No, there was another one. Was it a completely different company? What was that game that... I know Pat played it. Where Pat and Paige both played it, and they guessed what it was going to be at the very start. And it turns out that the, a little... Yeah, Man from Medan, that's what it was. Who did those? with Dark Pictures. No, that's not the name of the company. Developers. No, they did Supermassive. Yeah, Supermassive Games did that one too. How come it didn't show up on the list? Wait. Supermassive Return to the Horror Genre. Oh, that's why. Because, okay, Dark Pictures Anthology Man of Medan. Okay. And they also did a game called Little Hope. And House of Ashes. And they just kind of do nothing but these things now. Better take that SIM card tool away from your cat. Those things are pretty small. He'll probably get stuck in his little kitty mouth. I've never heard of House of Ashes. I've heard of Man of Medan. I think I may have heard of Little Hope. Let's look up and see what the ratings were on all of them. Including the Quarry. Hello, I'm here. Okay. Man of Medan. What would be a good way of looking at this? Spot, that's Destructoid. What would be the most reliable way to see what the general rating was from the public? Also, my mouth flaps are somewhat okay today, but could be better. But could be better. Excuse me, phone. But could be better. But could be better. Okay. I guess it's not really going to work as well as it did yesterday. How's my day doing? My day's been going pretty well. Got to have a nice chat earlier. Metacritic might work. It's not... Oh wait, there it is. There it is. Okay. Until Dawn got a 79. Man of Medan got a 75. That's kind of surprising. I think I didn't hear anything but bad things about it. Little Hope got a 73. House of Ashes got a 73. And The Quarry got an 80. Yeah, I guess Until Dawn itself also wasn't that great. I guess that all tracks. Plus, most people that are playing these games don't really care about the quality, they just like the experience of doing it. What's going on here? Just talking in front of a river that I might drown myself in later, who knows? Or maybe I'll catch a fish, like a bear. Like wait for a salmon to flop into my mouth and be like... Who knows? It's adventure every day. Oh, is House of Ashes the one where it's a bunch of military guys? Well, no, take that back. It's not military guys. It's a bunch of kids that are wandering through a ship, and then they encounter the military because they found something that they shouldn't have. Is that the game I'm thinking of? US and Iraq military. Yes, okay. Wait, that's Man of Medan? Wait, really? No, I thought Man of Medan was the one where you, it opens the game with you almost hitting a girl with a bus or something? Yeah, I'm probably mixing all the games together because they're all basically the same exact game. It's really hard to tell them apart. Oh, Man of Medan is the one that's on a ship. Oh, Little Hope is the one where you almost hit a... Okay, okay, okay. Damn, what a mess. They're the same universe and story? Fuck that. No. No, get away from me. Get the fuck away from me. No. Oh yeah, they're the Dark Pictures anthology. No, I'll have none of that, thank you very much. Awful, just awful. I've never actually played any of them. I have watched several of them be played, though. I can't say that I've ever had any interest in playing them, either way. I wonder if I could reset my phone one more time to get it to track even better than it is now, or even worse. Let's give it a try. So I see you. I get too close and I couldn't figure out where I was. Okay. Okay, work. Work. Work, bitch, work. Okay. Okay, that seems like it's a little bit better. There we go. I don't know why it is. Like, if I reset it while I'm streaming, somehow it gets a little bit better. But if I tried to do it before the stream, it's just like, nah. Nah. I'm not causing enough of a problem yet. You know, things can't work until they go wrong. And even whenever they're working, it has to actively be doing something it shouldn't be doing. Yeah, I can't remember any characters from those games that I think of warmly. As I recall, they're written to be kind of annoying. Well, here's the thing: with horror films, you want all the characters to be people that you want to see die, except for usually like one or two, where you're like, they can live. There's still something wrong with them, so if they do die, you're like, well, okay, it's not too bad. But if they also get like speared with a harpoon through the chest, or they're having sex with someone and then the killer thrusts a knife through the guy's head as he's on top of her into her skull, then you're like, yay. Like that's how horror characters are written. So whenever you have characters in games that are meant to emulate that, of course they're going to be completely unlikable. So it makes sense. Thank you, Hot Pot Knight. Work, bitch. I did appreciate, since we rewatched it recently, Cabin in the Woods, that it was a movie that was about the horror cliches, but also about how they were trying to force the cliches to happen by just surreptitiously changing the personalities of everyone involved. Like even the jock, played by... what's his name? Chris Hemsworth? Is that what his name is? Who's the Thor guy? Who's the guy that plays Thor? I can't remember. Anyways. Like, they open up the film with him being portrayed as... like, sure, he's kind of a jock, but he's also an intellectual. And even his girlfriend is... like, she's a pretty blonde, but at the same time, she is very fun and knows how to joke around. Like, just generally just kind of a wholesome person in her own way, in a way. But as it goes on, you learn that they've been releasing chemicals and basically poisoning them to get them to act more stupid, to fit in with the tropes of the characters that need to die in order for the quote-unquote film to progress. I thought that was kind of neat. Oh, excuse me. I eat McDonald's. I went out and bought food and then I got McDonald's. It was awful. I got a fish sandwich and a hot and spicy chicken sandwich. And then when I got home, I ate a few sun chips. French onion sun chips. Those are the best ones. I also accidentally left out my Impossible Burgers that I had frozen a couple nights ago. I was wondering, where are they? And then I looked down and they were on the floor. I was not happy. So I gave them to the chickens. I don't know how they got there. I think what happened is I got one out. I know what it was. I was on call, and I was like, let me go make some food real fast. So I took out the Impossible Burger, frozen. I put them down, got out one to carry into the kitchen, and then I just never put it back. That's what happened. It was pretty good, though. I ended up wasting 3. Which is a bad deal, because that's like half the package. So that's probably like, I don't know, like $4, maybe $5 just down the tube for no reason. Wendy's is okay. Usually, but Wendy's is so expensive too. Like if you don't want to get their dollar menu stuff, then everything is just really high. But as far as their dollar menu stuff goes, the double stack is probably the best thing that they have. Also, you can get their chicken sandwich, but it's not very good. Like, unfortunately, if I wanted to get a nasty fast food chicken sandwich, I would probably get a hot spicy chicken sandwich from McDonald's. Even though it also is not good for you and is terrible and probably is made of orphans or something. I'm not quite sure, but nothing good can come of it. You had Cajun fries today. Were they from Five Guys by any chance? A wheelbarrow full of fries? Of the worst fries made by a human? I have had a few bad experiences at Wendy's. One that comes to mind is... Actually, a couple come to mind. One time, they gave me a single. This is like when I was a kid, too. They gave me a single that was hard as a brick. Like, it was really overdone, and it was so hard that you could probably throw it and have it stick into a wall. I'm not sure how they managed that. The second is one time they gave me a grilled chicken sandwich that was slimy. And I don't know why. Like, it was really, really slimy. As though they had taken it and dipped it in something. Oh, minimum wage is going up in Australia? I wish we could get that going. Minimum wage in America hasn't gone up since, like, the... I can't remember. It's been a long time. And it's one of the reasons why things are the way they are now. Yeah, fast food in general does not make me feel particularly good. I remember there was a period of time whenever... There was a period of time where I got really sick for a while, and I just stopped eating, and I eventually got really paranoid about my health and started eating nothing but healthy foods for a while. And then I tried eating McDonald's like one time, and it just about made me throw up. People eat fast food because it is fast, and it is an approximation of good food. How can the McDonald's nuggets be liquid inside? Then again, have you guys ever seen videos of how they actually make those? They turn them into some sort of pink paste, and then it reconstitutes into meat, because it's actually just shredded up, like leavings. It's almost like a hot dog in that sense. An extra $40 a week sounds good. Wasn't that fake? The idea that that was exclusively what it was fake. the pink stuff was used as a component in something, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, you're basically right. Oh, the meat glue? Yeah. What has the temperature been like? Nightmarish. Today, I think it got up to 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Which I'm not sure what that is in real people bucks. That is about 36 or 37 degrees Celsius. It was very hot. Let me actually check. I'm curious what it was today. Okay. Okay, according to this, the highest it technically got was 95. Humidity is at 44%. But that's right now, and it's actually cooling off because it is getting to be the middle of the night. And even now, it's still 81 degrees. So, kind of a nightmare. Yeah, the Northern Hemisphere is much more of a pile of crap. As far as temperature goes. It seems like in the Northern Hemisphere, either it is like nightmarishly hot, or it is incredibly wet and dreary. And those are the two states of weather that you get to have. Or so incredibly frigid that it is deadly. And that's pretty much it. We haven't completely destroyed the planet. No. See, it's not the worst it's ever been. It's the worst it's ever been so far. Yeah, something I actually wanted to try to do today is... I wanted to see if I could actually watch a video. Actually, I was already watching this. We could watch this thing. I was going to try to see if we could watch videos today. So I'm not going to fire up the watch playlist just yet. But I did want to give it a test run by watching like at least one video to see if it messes up the stream. Because it's been very slow going today. What happened to the playthroughs of Elden Ring? They're burning in hell at the moment. They have to ask for forgiveness of their sins before they're allowed back. What? The people are fucked. Yeah, I remember that bit. Yeah, Elden Ring I didn't really get too much out of Elden Ring, and it kind of got to where even firing it up just depressed me. Because I just don't really find the game that fun. And everyone else is like, oh, Elden Ring, it's the best. Best game ever. I love the fact that it's difficult and the enemies cheat all the time. I can't wait to see how the enemies cheat in future games. Not me. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of the game, but it definitely is overrated. It does make me, not hopeful, but I'm looking forward to looking forward to Breath of the Wild 2. Because I'm hoping that since that is quote-unquote a kid's game, and since it's a sequel to Breath of the Wild, which itself was full of flaws, that maybe that game will be similar without actually being as obnoxious as Elden Ring is. See, I never have honeymoon phases with things. I either like things or I don't. I don't go through a phase where this is the best thing I've ever experienced, and then later on I start to see its flaws. Which is kind of a nice thing, because I don't have to worry about not being able to see things for what they are. I kind of just see them right away. But it also puts me at odds with lots of people. Because most people are not like that. My favorite Souls game was Dark Souls 1, but it was also probably the easiest out of all of them. It's kind of like last night whenever I was playing Chivalry 2. I was complaining about how I just wanted to enjoy myself. I have no interest in the PvP. I just want to run forward and just slash at things and have it die, which is why I like co-op games. But whenever it comes to like PvP, you actually have to try and pay attention and get better, and I don't want to do that. I have plenty of... I have to worry about being a good animator, being a good artist, being a good performer on Twitch. I have all these things that I am trying to improve on a daily basis, in addition to myself. I'm also trying to improve as a person. The last thing I have to worry about is getting better at some stupid video game that I'm gonna stop playing in a couple weeks. And yeah, Elden Ring does cheat very, very liberally. It doesn't even try to hide it. Am I still into Battletech? Into it? No. I was never into Battletech. I'm still familiar with it, to some degree. Am I a good kitty? Yeah. Sexy cat is what I am. A sexy daddy cat. Yeah, I'm not even about I want to be the cool guy that just mows down tons of enemies. It's a good mix of things. I do sort of enjoy, what are they called? What are those things called? Dynasty Warrior games. Something. My brain can't access it today. What are those called? Musos. Not MOBAs, no. Yeah, Musos. I do sort of enjoy those, but they're also a little bit too brain dead. So the things that I like are kind of in between those two. This is why I like Dark Souls, because it's easy, but it also respects your time. And it doesn't cheat most of the time. It has its flaws, though. Anything that's kind of like that. Also, Dragon's Dogma was sort of like that as well, for the most part. Although Dragon's Dogma's general gameplay is not really that riveting in the first place. And Dragon's Dogma could also be unfair from time to time. It depended on what it was. I have vague memories of having to fight death, and it being a big pain in the ass. I don't remember why, I just remember coming across a corner and then there's just death hanging out. Yeah, I like games where I can switch my brain off. People don't really understand that. One of the reasons why I play Dead by Daylight is because I can actually kind of turn my brain off for the most part and just enjoy myself. It's not 100% relaxing, but it is engaging enough that you have to kind of pay attention, but also unengaging enough that you can also hold a conversation while you're playing it. I did play MechWarrior 5 for a little bit, yeah. I didn't get too far into it, though. I haven't played Vampire Survivors, actually. Yeah, even though the DLC of Dragon's Dogma was probably its most difficult portion, it was also probably the best part of the game. Just because so much more focus was given to it. Dead by Daylight can be toxic, but if you kind of disengage yourself from it, you don't quite notice it, and it really doesn't come up that much. See, that's actually the reason why I don't like playing Darkest Dungeon. Because it is a game that you're basically sure that you're going to die. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to zoom into my kitty. At least for the moment. Kitty. Will I be playing Chivalry again? I actually almost played it today, but I decided not to. I actually ended up playing Zomboid for a few minutes. And it was a little bit more fun than I figured Chivalry would be. Although I ended up stopping because I had to end up talking to a friend instead. Shh. Does I have an angry face? Yeah, I can be angry. Sort of. I can be slightly perturbed. I can also be slightly fretful. Although it doesn't really work too well if I have a smile on my face. Also, I can be slightly sad, but you know. Who wants to see that? Yeah, you do need to fire up Zomboid Shark Face. I lost a lot of people playing Darkest Dungeon. Then again, I also overvalue my own characters, and I think that's part of the reason why Darkest Dungeon 2 is designed the way it is. Because, in the first game, if you put a lot of... XCOM is sort of the same way. Like, take the very first XCOM game, for example. In XCOM, like, 1990... whatever... 4? I can't remember when XCOM came out. But in that game, your characters were incredibly disposable. Even if you had a fully maxed out character that had all the experience in the world and was like psionic and could kill enemies in one hit and all this other stuff, it didn't really matter. Because that character could just randomly die from nothing. Like you could do nothing wrong, just step one foot out of the ship and then that character's dead. They were very disposable. Whereas as the games have gone on, people don't want to lose those characters. XCOM is that old? I can't remember when the first game came out. Let's check. XCOM... was it taglined as Defense Force? Yeah, in Chimera Squad, they really played into... You know, do you remember how in Chimera Squad, there's actually stuff on the street that are signs for, like, Snake Lady burlesque shows and stuff? They know. Yes, UFO Enemy Unknown, aka XCOM UFO Defense, was released in 1994. So, yep. I was, 12 years old whenever that game came out. So ancient. Truly ancient. Yeah, the snake... I like the Snake Lady. I was actually considering the idea of reinstalling it just because I don't really remember that much about the Snake Lady. Yeah, well, the thing about, remember how there used to be Thin Men in the modern XCOM game that they released? They were supposedly vipers, like the snakes, but mutated in such a way as to be able to look human. So the Thin Men were actually Snake Ladies the whole time. Can you believe it? Hot, huh? Mm-hmm. She doesn't like it. I don't remember if she dislikes aliens or not. A hot tub stream? Probably not. A snake lady that's like, I only like humans. Human boys only, please. Big tattoo on her ass. Human boys only. Yeah, I could put myself inside of a hot tub, I guess. Ah. Okay, it's probably gonna be a slow day today. Because it's Tuesday. Also, it's kind of late. So we'll probably just get started watching stuff. Yeah, I'm almost next to a beach. Alright, that's it. Head Swordsman, thank you very much for stopping by. Guys, have a good night. I really want to learn how to speak like a fake British person. It's so much fun. But I run out of things to say very easily. It's really fun to do that voice. What is that accent? It's there's a specific term for it. Not many British people actually sound like that. It's a very specific area of London or something. Cockney, yes. That's what it is. Well, it's water bottle. How are they supposed to say it? Wobo. Wobo. British people. A video series discussing cryptids. It would have to be around Halloween again. I was actually going to try to do that every year in some capacity, but things always kept coming up around that time of year. Like, I think it was this past year's, because October is my favorite month. So anytime that month is ruined for me in some way, it feels really bad. And it was ruined for me to... Not the last October, but the October before that one. That one was completely ruined. It felt really bad. Yeah, I enjoyed doing the cryptid thing, because I got to research everyone's stuff, and it was nice being able to do things like, the Frog Lady, I think it was, that was a kind of a Cuban cryptid, and seeing people that were from Cuba being like, oh, it's the thing that we all know. That's cool. And then they would share, like, the one or two little things that I got wrong, or had slightly more to them, or... You know, there was some sort of differentiation between them, or people saying, we have that too, but it actually is this. Like, I love doing stuff like that. It's really fun. Can I wink? Sort of. A little bit. A British boomhauer. Well, a Cockney boomhauer? I could see you'd still be just doing that, but it'd be slightly Cockney. Oh yeah, like a lot of the entire Scary Lessons universe that I have in my head, and not on paper because, you know, that's basically entirely just cryptids, because the entire concept of it is that monsters and such are basically just sort of tulpa creations in the sense that they are things that people imagine and they manifest, but they're also inherited via DNA or, you know, something approximate to it. So as a result, you can inherit it, but you can also sort of invent it. And the understanding of what, like, say, a werewolf is could actually change over time. So you might get different variations of werewolves, depending on when that werewolf was born. So the entire setting is like that. But anyways, okay. Let me set up and we'll watch ourselves a video, I hope. Boop. Boop. Getting smaller. Smaller kitty. Small kitty. Small kitty complete. Okay. Water. Stop. Thank you. Kenshi, the Torso solo experience. I wanted to show you guys this. Begin!
For a new challenge, I'm playing Kenshi as a torso alone, stranded in the middle of the desert. I tried this challenge previously, but I had a hive.
Let me know if the
to
volume
carry
is
me
too
along.
loud.
This time, I'm going at it on my own.
I'm going to be watching OBS to make sure
perils lie in wait of
if there's any
torso,
drops.
Crossing the desert for himself, and the road won't be easy. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and I won't get my limbs back for a while either. If you want to follow along with this challenge, you can use the torso
there we go,
start
it's a little
mod,
better.
But just make the hiver servant run
Head
away
out, good
at
chill.
the beginning of the
Big chill.
playthrough. That's
That's a
how
good
I'm
chill.
doing it.
Bye-bye.
Strategically, I'm stumped on a good method of survival as
Kenshi
I've never
is
tried
great.
it before, and I'm writing the script before I've started the challenge. But I think it will be very interesting and involve
Yeah, I like
a lot
this
of
guy.
stealing.
Am I subscribed to him?
As for growth, I'll
I'm
never
not.
be
Let's
recruiting
change
any
that,
other characters.
'cause I like
This
this
is
guy.
a true solo mission. Now, can we
He also does
survive?
zombies,
Let's go on
or
to the
zomboids
playthrough.
videos.
Okay, so we've spawned here in the middle of the desert, and the first thing we need to do is to become a truly solo torso. So goodbye.
First, do you guys know what Kenshi is? I'll briefly explain. It's like a jank little video game that was made by one guy, yet it's incredibly deep for some reason. Like, it's just laughably deep. There's no objectives. You just spawn into the world as something, and you just try to live there. And that's pretty much it. So this guy does challenge runs where he does, like, the one that I watched before this, and is on my watch later list as well. We'll watch it eventually. Is, he played as a dog, a bone dog. So there are different presets that you can have. One was a person and their dog or something, and he sent the other person away so that he would only play as the dog. And the whole thing was just him trying to figure out how to go about the world just existing as a pupper. And this one, of course, you can spawn in as this person with no limbs, but he has, I guess, a slave or something? I'm not sure. But he's sending him away.
Logan, and I decided to name him Torsolo, a portmanteau of torso and solo, get it? And so we're stuck here between Shobatai and Heft. Since Shobatai is vaguely closer, I'm going to head in that direction. Really for
You're
one
new?
of two things, either to be
Welcome.
enslaved by someone along the way, or
We're just watching
just,
Kenshi videos.
well, steal things. I'm probably going to be
For now,
needing
anyways.
to spend a lot of time stealing. Currently our character's level 1
Yeah, bone
at
wolves-
everything,
or
and
bone
we'll set
wolves.
him to
Bone dogs are
sneak
cool
so that
looking.
he does start to gain sneaking experience as other characters come along. Because right now he's just slowly gaining athletic skill as he shambles, not really even shambles, just squirms through the desert. Now the main thing to look out for during this desert crossing is, there we go, it's the dreaded skimmers. Okay, the skimmers could be the death of us. Avoiding them at all costs, as slow as we are, would be very good. So we will try to avoid them and pick up other people along the way. There go a few right now. Logan appears to be getting killed by something. Okay, Logan is dead forever. Okay, we are going to leave him behind because this playthrough isn't fair with him in there. This is a solo playthrough. Okay, we're halfway there almost. And it looks like there's a few more skimmers out there. Now, sometimes they fly up in the air or get trapped in wacky,
I've never actually
interpretive
played
dance
Kenshi.
positions like this one. This one looks like it's doing some
I
sort
want
of
to,
sun
but I also don't want to
salutation,
go
but
through
it's
the
not
trouble of
dead,
learning
it's
it.
only unconscious right here. So this is a threat to us. We are over
I gotta
here.
move by
Looks
$5.
like that those outlaws just did us sort of a favor here.
Go over
well,
here.
Thank you, gentlemen. That'll be
There we go.
all. Okay, it says that this one is going to become unconscious or conscious again in 5 seconds. So let's just wait and find out. I guess that's its weenus. Okay, oh, that is interesting. Keep your eyes peeled and keep your wits about you. Okay, here comes what appears to be a bone dog. So we'll just want to stop for a moment and allow the bone
Yeah, I'm doing
dog
okay.
to pass. There it goes.
I'm glad that
And
you
it's
like
at
the
a
colors.
breakneck
It took me a
speed.
while
Now,
to
I'll add this
finalize all
if
of
it
them.
does not appear as if we're moving, we're actually going at a 1 mile an hour. But our
I actually
hunger is
demonstrated
at
one day how the
160
eye
and
color
dropping.
needed to be
That's definitely
red.
something that we want to take care of here. What is that on the ground?
The only
It
other
doesn't appear
color
as
that
if it
really
can
works
picked
would
up.
be,
It's just a piece of green.
kind of a very
Carry on
pink,
then, carry
light
on.
color
Now, to
pink.
put this into perspective, we aren't passing by any other nearby NPCs, so we don't have any stealth. We're just gaining athletic skill. It's
The guy
not
that
really
made
making
this-
us faster, though. I think he might max out at 2 miles an hour. Okay, and here we go with some sand ninja. They look
Ambiguous
friendly, though. We'll
amphibian.
just leave them to carry on. But we do gain some stealth skill from being near them. We'll have more people when we get
Oh
to
wow,
town.
I suddenly got hit with
Night
a wave
approaches
of
now,
tiredness.
and we're actually
don't know
training
why.
more stealth as we go. We're halfway there. And you can do it. You can do it.
Probably 'cause I just ate and it's kinda
alone,
cooling
alone,
really fast.
alone. Dawn approaches. Today we will come to the city gates.
Yes.
And with a loss of only 20 hunger. Now Logan has actually been
Prototype fan, what are you
enslaved.
doing in here with an
Let him
ED
continue his life and just
icon?
not look at
Whenever
him.
she's
He's
streaming
lost a
right
lot,
now.
But the story is about Torsolo, and the city appears in the distance.
It's okay, you can
Show
say.
the tie. Not exactly a good city, but a city nonetheless. Okay, don't let that attack you, and only about 500 more yards. Excellent work, Torsolo. Let's just have a little POV moment.
He does a
This
lot
is
of
what it's like
challenges.
to be the man. Okay, and there it comes in the distance. Any minute now.
A lot of his
I
content
can't wait
is-
to get in there. Hopefully they'll let
This guy, a lot of his content is about setting personal challenges for himself and then trying to find ways to overcome what he has created as his own conditions for success. And then he tries to kind of narratively posit it in such a way that it is something that you could carry forward with your day-to-day life. Like, it's sort of similar to what I do, except instead of it being art-related, it's just
let me in.
gameplay
I'll probably
related.
have the looks like a slave attribute. And I have 1 pair of sandals to buy a meal with. That might keep me going for a few days, though. Well, it looks like some slave hunters have been ambushed outside of here
Mitten
by a
Squad.
skeleton army.
Never heard of that.
So maybe there'll be another opportunity to be
Feel free to
enslaved.
add,
I'm not sure why I'm so happy about it. I mean,
anything
it
that
be
you might
good if
think
they
I
feed me.
find
It would be
interesting to the
preferable
watch
stealing
list.
everything
This
for
in my
now. They
Discord.
would at least heal me, too. Kenshi's an odd world. There we go, just squirm your way up. I kind of like it in fast motion. He looks like a caterpillar. And now we're training stealth again. Okay, let me in. Hopefully they won't find this suspicious. And is anyone going to ask me? Nope, I wouldn't ask
Nope.
anything either. Okay, now I'm a man
Oh.
about the town. First priority is going to be food. If I don't eat any, I'll die. I've got 124 remaining,
Pocket
so I have
sand?
time to train my stealth and get better at stealing.
What do you mean
Might
pocket
even be able
sand?
to steal a meal here and there. Or if I get myself arrested, I could train lockpicking.
Hmm.
I think I'll go to the General Goods Emporium. Right this way, my good man. Right inside. And here we go. Welcome.
Oh,
Thank you.
wow, I got
We
tired.
gotta take off sneak mode, and I'll just talk to him. Get good at haggling. Okay, show me your goods. Now, a ration pack is 1,152
Rimworld
packs.
is
My
another
sandals
game
are
that I
worth
would probably
50.
be
I'm
interested
selling
in, but it's another
sandals,
game
but
that
it's
would
gonna be
take a while to
before
get
I
into.
can eat the good food. Now I'm going
Well,
back
I know
to
the joke,
sneaking,
pocket sand.
and I'm
I just
going
don't know
to
what
get
you
better
mean
at
by
stealing
New
because
Vegas
I'm gonna need
pocket
to
sand.
steal some of this man's food if I want to eat. He has everything out, so I'll hang out by the main gate where there's a lot of NPCs to train my skill. And we're already level 6 in stealth and rapidly rising. We just need to wait till nightfall. when
I haven't
we're
dropped
less
any
visible.
frames so
We've also
far,
got the
so I think
bar
we're good
and
on
the
videos
police
tonight.
station. Bada bing, we're level 7. Bada bing. And now it's rising. It appears to be more rapidly in here. And we have more stuff we could steal. We just need to get
There it
somewhere
is.
we can't be
Give me a
seen.
second.
Now, I'm gonna take this stuff. I just committed a crime and no one cared. Another one, and let's get a third crime. I'm doing these crimes in the dark where the shopkeeper isn't watching me. He's busy looking at the barrel.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm over here taking all of the shit off the tables. Let's see if we could grab that meat wrap as well. Steal. And I ate it. Victory for Torsolo. What are other expensive items we could take here?
Ooh.
Wooden, that's not very expensive. Cactus rum. He's still looking at the barrel. Let's get that armor plating, and we'll just grab everything else. I'm not even good at this yet, but it's pretty OP. I've never actually tried the stealing in Kenshi, but I love it already. What's a grind machine? A food cube. I'll take that too. Go in for the win. And this stuff is fairly,
Stealing seems
fairly
profitable in
pricey.
Kenshi.
We'll put away a cup. You can have your cup back. I'll take that food cube. All right, goodbye. Goodbye, barkeep. You'll be seeing me again. Torsolo strikes again. Oh, really? I mean, if you saw this guy come into your bar, you probably wouldn't stop him if he just started stealing a bunch of electronics. You might even help him. All right, since the shop is closed, we'll just spend the whole night crawling around over here and training our stealth. When the guards pass and don't see me, I'll gain more quickly. And we'll do this till morning. In this way, I'm going to become a master
Isn't
thief. I'm just
the
trying to
dog
picture what
food
the
that you get in
townspeople
little
would think of a man
things
such
where
as
you
this
peel
one.
off the top?
Torso
Those are
who
basically
wandered
food
in
cubes.
from the desert with no
More
one.
food
Starving and
slabs.
alone, went to a
served
shop,
in a
and
gravy
shopkeeper
of its own
wouldn't
mess.
let him have anything unless if he had money. So he stole everything and then crawled around in circles at the city gate for a few hours. And no one said anything. Now it's dawn. It's time for the shop to
Man,
open.
I was
And
hoping
to
I
be
would not be
honest,
this tired
I can
until like
steal
3
all of
hours
the
in.
food. Hello, my
Hasn't even
good
been an
man.
hour into
I'll
the
be
stream
back
and I already
several
feel like going to
times. Now, we
sleep.
have a 59% chance of getting caught for selling a stolen item. We might need to get better at this before we go. Either that or I'll have to go
Favorite
to
cut of
jail
steak?
many times. What's in here? What's in here?
I don't know about cut.
Another bar. What's in here?
But I like it,
Lots more people we can train in here. Let's just go
medium
to a
or
secluded
medium
corner.
rare.
Oh, and it looks like I'm stuck. I'm actually stuck between the wall and the pole. So I think that the only option is to just get caught stealing. Okay, I'm just gonna steal all of the, good. Okay, they're going to arrest me. I'm just going to steal all of the rest of the bread. And, no, I won't even be, okay, they're good. They're just taking me away. They aren't even beating me up. Holy, I see you creeping around there. What the fuck? Well, fortunately, he didn't harm me at all. He is a benevolent, are you one of the police, or are you just... Okay, good. You're just a shop guard. You're just, he's going to report me to the police. Well done.
What an
Good.
embarrassing
Thank
arrest.
you. Oh, wonderful. In private security can just put you in jail. Okay, well, here I am now. I deserve this. I shouldn't have done that. Now I can train lock... My arms are messed... you know, I forgot about this, that you can, yeah, I can't even pick locks. Not even with my stumps. Fortunately, they did leave me my food cube, so that was positive. All right, so I might be here a while, thinking about what I've done. But in the meantime, I'm going to hatch a plan. Now, it's going to involve a lot of stealing. A lot of stealing, and then
He has a pretty
eventually
well
getting
manicured
arrested.
beard.
Now, Shobata
Wonder how he
is,
pulls that
a bit
off.
of a bust, I must say. So let's go to Heft. There's a skeleton shop there, and I should be able to buy some limbs once I've stolen enough things. Afterward, I'll get arrested and then get the limbs put back on me. And in this way,
You think you
I
make
will
a food
achieve arm
cube by
in
just
a few
condensing
more
a bunch of
days in
food
here.
into a
Only
single,
41 more hours
like,
to be exact.
just a
and then they
single
let me off. Well, at least I'm
compressed
safe inside
cube,
my mind.
like a trash
Okay.
cube
Well,
at
I
a,
spent I've spent 30 hours
what are
so
they
far
called?
in jail. Did not know that your hunger just stops.
I was about
around
to say
200.
garbage
So you
park.
can't
I don't know
starve in
why.
jail. I mean, my life's not
What are they
getting any
called?
better here, but it's not getting any worse either. You know,
Dump.
while we're waiting
It's a
out our
dump.
jail
Fucking a
sentence,
trash
although
dump.
I'm not playing as this character, I'm just gonna try
A
to get him
garbage
killed.
park? What the hell's
Because,
wrong with my
yeah,
brain?
it's a distraction. Okay, let's just try to escape. And great, I'm out of here. Okay. and they
Garbage
are going to-
park.
Good. Let's
go to the
good.
garbage park.
Man, they really don't want me to
Yay.
lose my limbs. That's why they use blunt objects.
Actually, whenever I
What
was a
about
kid, that
this
was
guy?
true.
I'm sure he'll want to kill
Because you
me.
could find
Here
so
we
many
go,
useful
please
things there
kill
because
me.
people
Good,
throw out
good. Some stabbing
whatever.
weapons would be great.
You could usually find all
Great.
sorts of,
And that's the
free
end of
stuff there.
that. No, please don't help me. Damn it. I really wanted to get out of here. He really likes me. Oh, yes, he does. He is touching my... What is he doing to my weenus? Damn it. Damn
My
it.
weenus.
Yes. I have paid for my crimes against the state. Reformed am I? Okay, unfortunately, there's nothing I can steal from the jail. There's only one very powerful looking Hive Guard. A new life of justice. and uprightness. But the hunger has begun again. Time to go get back into jam. Okay, what should I steal today? No wonder the recrimination rate is so high. They don't feed you for doing nothing, but they do give you attention and feed you if you do something bad, especially something really bad. There wasn't even anything good up here either. Alright, I guess it's back to the other bar. I'm just trying to imagine the anger and the injustice this man must feel. On top of everything he had to be angry
At least he's not hungry.
To begin with. Now he's been in prison for 2 days because he clipped through the floor. Okay, time to steal a sandwich. Committed a crime, but I am fed, and I've eaten the evidence. We can just grab some other parts. This bartender is still staring at a barrel. He's working, and we have enough food for the journey. Now it's time to say goodbye. Although I love Shobatai, they didn't have any arms or legs for me.
That is how it works in real life, though.
Goodbye, town.
If
Hello,
someone is
wilderness.
struggling really
I'm back
badly,
inside of you.
people tend
So
to
good
just
be
ignore that
inside
they
of you
exist.
again, and we're gonna
So it allows them
avoid
to get away with
that is
even more than they normally would have
Another
been able
odyssey
to.
across the desert. I live for this. Here we go. Into the desert. Alone. 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 Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Oh, thank God they didn't do it.
What
I
was
thought
that?
They were going to enslave me. Manhunters. Thank you. That was actually quite good-natured of them. No, I'm not hungry. Not hungry at all. I couldn't eat another bite. It's been 1 weekend game, so I guess I should do a skill update. Athletics 37, Stealth 31. And those are really the 2 things that matter. The rest is sort of irrelevant. We could pick up objects and run around with them. That would train our strength. But I guess I'll just be weak. Okay, goodbye, caravan. At least it gave me an opportunity to, train my stealth. Nobody knows about me. And we're almost there. Almost where we want to go.
Prosthetic
It's
limbs exist in this
rendering
game?
the
Very
distance.
much so, yes.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'll
In
just
fact,
be
there's even an
passing
entire
by. Good morning.
species
Have a
of people
swell
that are
day.
nothing
A
except
swell
for
day.
prosthetics.
We'll get
They're
in
machine
after
people.
nightfall. Now, if we can't
And they
steal
may
goods
have been
here,
responsible for the
there's always a lot
destruction of the world.
raids on the outside, and it would be possible to just take things off of bodies that come near and then sell them and earn enough
can
to
place
buy
one.
an arm. And if I could get an arm, I could go a long way with that arm, beyond wherever Torso has gone before. Wow, a full desert crossing. Wow, we make it at dawn. It'll be midday by the time we get to the gate. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm a happy man. And they're gonna stop me. What's my business? I'm here to, stock up on supplies. Okay, they think I look clean. I can't imagine why. I just stole a bunch of goods. I guess it's because it's not from this city. That was one reason why I stole them from the other city. Alright, I guess that doesn't bother them. Weird, but okay. Yeah, I'm an upstanding guy.
Kenshi is a very
Excuse
cool
me,
game, but it
gentlemen.
also
I'll
is very
be selling
dense.
These,
You'll get really
Misaki
confused
and
trying
the
to play it.
Skeleton muscle. That's actually quite valuable. And some steel bars. And a hinge. Wish I'd had better stuff. Hello, hello. I'm finally here. I've been waiting to meet you. And they are accepting my stolen goods from the other city. That is really nice of them. Okay, I guess I'm saving up my money and I could just go to jail whenever I need food. It's not that complicated. Now, after only a few hours of crawling, I've managed to gain
Those weird
athletics
cow
level,
things are pretty
50
neat looking.
almost. And stealth level 35, which is going up now that we're in town. Here we go, my favorite skeleton repair shop in the game. This man will have an arm and a leg for me. Okay, don't cut me in line, please. I guess he wasn't satisfied. Now, this gentleman sells the finest arms. Why, hello, my
This
good
dude's
man.
chest
Now, we
must
wanna
be
buy
really ripped
shoddy
up from all
grade
this
arms.
walking.
Everything else
Walking,
is
quote,
far
unquote.
too expensive, and maybe some
Here's
economy
your prosthetics,
legs.
by the way.
I'll at least buy the shoddy leg. Okay, now we're just waiting for him to restock. Oh wow, turns out I was wrong. I thought I needed somebody with arms to put these on. So then I can just put the... How did I put it on, though? Right, whatever. Okay, I have a leg now. Right, I'm gonna need one more leg. I still don't have enough money for another leg. There we go. Starving Vagrant. We can loot him. Go, go, go. There we go. The American dream personified. Literally up by the bootstraps.
Yeah, I
And
wonder if
two
this guy can
vagrants
actually get
here
a
with
full
my name on
working
them. Thank
body.
you very much. I'll take those things. High roller coming through. Oh, now I have a stealth garment. No one can see me. I've come back for your other leg.
yeah, you
my
would basically
good man.
just have to
Oh, he
keep
sold
buying
it. Oh wait, no, he
prosthetics.
got another one in stock. Well, praise Thor, praise Thor. Just sell these old rags, the weapons. There we go. Buy myself a new wiener. Sell my armor. And suddenly I have 2 legs, walking around like a new man. Hot woman
Buy
coming
myself a
through.
new
Step
wiener.
aside,
Something
boys.
like that.
There's a new guy in town.
Look at that, he can
Gentlemen.
walk.
I can sneak around.
almost
like never
horrifying.
before. Unfortunately, I can remove my legs to get more stealthy. Okay, we're in a perfect position to steal. I can get away with many crimes. from under the table. I wonder if I can go over here. Ooh, maximum stealth mode. I'll just take this cup and these chew sticks and this hacksaw. Ooh, I'm out of space. I'll put on one leg and just stack up the items I don't want anymore on the floor.
Put on
and
one
leave
leg.
them in a suspiciously well-balanced pile. Really a Houdinian feat. Okay, it's two-leg time. Nobody expects
Well, he doesn't really have the
me.
money
I'm
to be able
like
to afford a good
spider.
leg.
Hello again, my good man. Now I can't actually sell the goods because I have a 57% chance of getting, you know what I mean. So we're gonna need to drop these stolen goods again in a suspiciously well-balanced pile. And go back out to where skimmers are spawning. Now we should be able to sell the meat from them and buy an arm. Here we go. Just a few tusks and some meat. A few more. And wowzers, a full inventory
Whoa.
of animal claws, which are quite valuable considering
Yeah,
that they're just
those are going to be pretty nice.
beasts of the wild. We'll sell them all to him. We'll buy an arm. What a successful trip to the shop. I finally have an arm. You know, let's get him a full set of limbs. He's so close, and he just looks so smashing right now. I have
Damn,
another
he is
idea.
so fucked
Time
up
for some
looking.
strength training. Oh, he cannot carry anybody with just one arm? All right, time to save up for another arm. Now that I can move about with decent proficiency, I think it's time to sneak around the bar. My plan for this character is that he become basically like a stealth ninja. Stealth and just stealing things. Haven't played a character like that, so it should be a new kind of run. If possible, he could also assassinate people. But for this man, I don't know why no one suspects him. No one will expect me from behind the bread oven. Oh. Okay, what about over
One day
here?
he'll be able to
Perfect,
afford a shirt.
perfect. Give me that bread. Goodbye. Goodbye. And I think we'll buy back our stealth robes. I don't see why not. They were making life better. As well as our rag shirt. Or our, oh wait, no, those aren't good. Never mind. I like how
Hell
he
yeah.
pads part of his claw with the
Damn, you're looking
robe,
kinda
like it's a
fresh
mitten
now.
for his hand. We have improved so much. Well, I think it's safe to say that this man truly represents the American dream. He's literally taken himself off of the ground, stolen goods, and fed himself, been arrested for unjust reasons, went to jail for 2 days and crossed
RoboCop,
a desert
basically.
twice. And now, spiderly though he is using his guile and stealth and his bootay to steal his vengeance. It's like the Count of Monte Cristo. Oh, we've got more training to do with him. I think we really need to just take him to a ninja town where he can steal goods. But then at that point,
How long is this?
we can actually grind him into a
Oh,
decent
no, it's almost
character.
over. I
wanna
wanted
go
to see
solo
more.
with him since the last time we did a torso start, it just sort of turned into a whole team effort, and I could see him growing as one, but only one, no more. All right, thanks for watching, and join us next time for more Torso Man. Anyway, as always, my name's Ambiguous Amphibian. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
This was our test video to see if I could continue doing this. I can. So to that end, let's go to our Watch Together playlist and apparently watch a Bionicle retrospective, even though I don't know anything at all about Bionicle. But let's pause here for a moment, because I need to actually use the bathroom. It won't let me run an ad break. Radical. Okay. Well, let you guys just sit here and pretend that something cool is going on. I am going to pee, probably out my wiener, buy a new wiener and pee from it. I'll be back in a moment. Oh, holy shit. I'm so tired. I don't know why it is. I think also it's my medication, since that makes me really tired. Oh, yeah. Executioner, welcome, buddy. Welcome back. Oh. Actually, you guys want to see me lean back and just... Here, hold on. Here. This is what I feel like right now. Okay. Give me a second. This is what it feels like to be old. Okay. I have been going a little bit too hard lately. Like the moment that I finished what I was doing earlier, I immediately went out to go shopping. And then immediately after that I ate, and then immediately after I finished eating I started streaming. I should spend more time just like sitting and doing nothing. Indolence is underrated. Okay. No, stop it. Okay. All right. Back to work. It's very important to work. Back to work. Because yes, you missed Kenshi. Okay, good. It's been 1 minute since the last ad, which means I can continue unabated, unmasturbated. Let's continue. This is a Bionicle retrospective. There are kids that watch me, and I say kids, but you're probably like 20 or 30. I don't know anything about Bionicle. I don't care about Bionicle. Whenever it came out, I thought this is ridiculous. It's like Transformers, but somehow even more baby. But there's something to it. Apparently it has some sort of storyline or something. So if you guys want to explain Bionicle to me, here we go.
There were 3 virtues: unity, duty, and destiny. Wherever evil stirs, there will always be a light to dispel it. This is the story of the Bionicle.
Oh, the Bionicle. I'm sorry.
Bionicle video coming from a Tokusatsu channel.
I thought all the little machine people were Bionicles.
You want to count that we have a team of multicolored heroes. I love Lego, and I love Bionicle even more. They were a huge part of my childhood that I'll never forget. I'll get more anecdotal as we continue, but for
I never
now,
knew
let
anyone
me
that
talk
had
your ears off
a
about one of my favorite
Bionicle.
franchises. In the 1990s, the Lego group wanted to focus more on theming and storytelling. The idea that came from it was not Bionicle, but rather Slicers and Robo Riders. They look pretty awesome and were fun to build. Apparently, other people thought the same thing, so these sets became popular enough for LEGO to try even harder. The next concept went under a few names: Bio Knights, Afterman, and infamously, Boneheads of Voodoo Island. Really
Afterman sounds cool.
The concept was gonna last a while.
Did he say doo-doo heads?
Boneheads of Voodoo Island. Really glad they didn't stick with that.
He said Voodoo Island, but that clearly says do-heads.
Man, and infamously, Boneheads of Voodoo Island. Really glad they didn't stick with that. The concept was gonna last a while, so you could say it was gonna have a chronicle
this is
of stories
do-heads.
untold. Our characters would be robotic, but biological. A bit bionic.
I don't know,
Bionic
Sharkface.
Chronicle. Oh, Nick Nickel.
I honestly think it's just because
Bionicle
they have the same general personality type, and they don't know how to perform with cadence, the correct kind of cadence anyways.
While giving my thoughts afterwards. I'm gonna have to change it up this time.
Like, I could talk this way as well. I could deliver information while not actually varying the way that I speak. That way, no matter how you listen to me, you will always be irritated at everything I say.
because if I talked about every single thing in Bionicle's lore, we would be here for hours. In a way, that's a pretty cool thing. No way anyone would expect so much from LEGO of all things.
You have to
It
have
was
some
one of the
color
many
to your
driving
voice.
forces to boost Bionicle's
You have
popularity.
to speak in
The
such a
story
way
we
that people
start
will
with
be
is a simple one, at
gravitating
least on the surface.
towards you
The
as though you
Bionicle
were
are
a black
inhabitants
hole
of
of
an island
information.
called Matanui, named after the Great Spirit.
So that they would be
However,
turned into spaghetti and
Matanui's
die.
brother, the Makuta, grew jealous and put
that a
Matanui
penis?
into a long slumber.
Oh, it's
The
a
days
rock.
grew
It's a
dark
rock.
on the
It's a rock.
island, but there was hope in a legend that told of 6 heroes who would awaken Matanui. It's a little bit more in depth than you would expect, especially coming from LEGO, but that's only the
I'm
very
actually using
basic
my
plot.
lightest
The
tone of
entire
voice
background, world
right
building,
now.
and lore is enormous. Apologies ahead of time if
It's
I
kind of
go back and
strange.
forth between what certain lore was added. There is a lot.
If I
so it's a
talk
bit
like
difficult
this,
to
in
keep
my
track
head,
of
I
when it
sound
was
like
all
I'm
first
speaking with a very
introduced and
light
where.
tone.
The world of Bionicle felt
But if
a
I
bit
listen
more
back
lived
to
in
it,
by having its own
I
written and
sound
spoken
still
language.
kind of
The
as
main
deep as I
villages of
always am.
Matanui are called Matoran.
But if
Their
I tried to
village
talk
elders
like
are
this,
Turaga, and the heroes are Toa. By the
then if
visuals,
I
you
listen
can
back
probably
to
tell
that,
the theming of
it still
Bionicle,
sounds
at
kind of
least
the same.
Matanui, is more colonial and tropical, which is where the inspiration came from. However, the Maori people of New Zealand filed a lawsuit
And
for
that
LEGO's
heart-
use of their words.
It is not
Matoran
around.
were originally called Tohunga, and their character names had different spellings. Interestingly enough, there was an in-universe explanation for these name changes, as the
This is
Matoran
so
have
ridiculous
a holiday
looking.
called Naming Day. The world building was what kept me interested in Bionicle as a kid, and it still does. There are stories of Matoran going through their daily lives, fighting off animals called Rahi, going on journeys to visit other tribes, a gathering of all the
I don't see how
Turaga
anyone
Matoran
took
in
this
the Colosseum
seriously.
for sport.
They're so
Turaga are the
doofy
elders
looking.
of their villages, so they're usually very serious and wise. But some, like
And they-
Matau, are pranksters and just want to have
Hold
a
on.
good.
This guy also talks way too fast. It kind of does get on my nerves. Like the designs for the little Bionicle things, they look like they look like the Lego games, but they also look like generic robots. So I never quite understood the appeal. Like, who picks this up and is like, "Oh, this is fucking cool." No, it might be cute, but it's never cool. I don't understand it.
Good time. The Turaga of Matanui also
Yeah,
have some
maybe
pretty
if you're,
interesting
like, 6
backstories
years
that
old or
we'll
something.
get into extensively. There's just so much to read, and the best part is that you absolutely did not have to read up on any of the lore. A lot of it was there for those who were interested, and if you just wanted to catch up on the main story, then that was always on the forefront.
Yeah,
of the
Sharkface,
year.
what is your opinion
Of
on
course, there were
Chills?
books,
Do you know who
comics, and
Chills
video
is?
games, which also added to the lore somewhat. The
No
games
one's
are
ever added
canon
a
for the
Chills
most
video
part,
to my
except for a
playlist, and that
couple
makes me
we'll
kinda
get into
sad.
in a bit. I'm gonna bring up that I'll only barely mention the comics and books since I never touched those. I
Sonic
kinda
is
know the
not
general
cool.
Stories, but
Sonic
I
is
won't pretend like I know
incredibly
the
lame.
details.
That's part of the
so
appeal.
All that is fun, but let's
You've
not
never
forget
heard
that
of
Bionicle
Chills?
is still a toy
We have to
release.
watch a
The
Chills
designs
video.
of these toys are like nothing.
Here, I'm sorry, I don't actually care about Bionicle at all, like whatsoever. I do, however, want to watch people make. I want to make people watch Chills videos. It is incredibly important to society. We'll watch one of his slightly older videos because I don't want him to not receive views for something. Let's see. This one's too long, but this one is 30 scary videos to make locked door. Not to make you lock the door, just 30 scary videos to make locked door. 30 videos, scary videos that'll make you call your mom. Oh, these things. It'll be fun, a good one. Top 10 scary videos that are the scariest on the internet. Let's watch this one. This is a good one. Okay. Locked door! Why? What's going on? Is something locked door? Okay. This is Chills. Please listen to his voice, Sharkface especially, and see if you lose your mind, if you're like, ugh.
Have you watched the entire internet yet? Well, if you haven't seen these top 10 scary videos, then I guess not. But proceed carefully because these are the scariest videos on the internet. Number 10. Kitchen Phantom. Does your resident phantom like to cook? Then you're in for a real treat. Published in November of 2021.
He does sort of
this
do it on
scary
purpose,
video
yes.
Has everyone doing a double take. A woman is washing something in her kitchen when things start to heat up. A piece of fruit rolls from its bowl off of the kitchen island. A moment later, a plastic bottle falls over on its own. When the woman goes to grab it, it slides from her hand off of the counter. Then a roll of paper towels unfurls across the counter.
Sharkface, this video
it
is
also moves,
15 minutes
turning
long.
slightly
You
but
can come back then.
deliberately. It seems the woman then feels chilled as she goes to put a sweatshirt on. A small piece of paper or a napkin on the counter falls off of it nearby. Despite all of this unexplained activity, the woman somehow still stays in the
Unexplained
kitchen.
activity.
She seems to only get scared by the light overhead, which starts to shake. Meanwhile, a creepy phantom-like figure edges towards her and disappears as she steps toward the lamp to still it. You can see the figure again a moment later on the opposite side of the island. The light above continues to shake, and a book on the counter opens and then falls closed. Was the phantom figure disturbing everything in this kitchen? Or are there dozens of demons at play here? Number 9.
Dozens!
Childlike apparition. There's nothing scarier than ghost children. Published in November of
Or
2021.
is there not?
Originally posted to TikTok.
How about like a
and El
werewolf
Kukoi
with a
TV.
knife? A
This
kitchen
scary
knife.
home security
Your
camera
kitchen
footage
knife.
has me looking over
No.
my shoulder. A man
A
is
werewolf
seen in
with
the
a,
video
your
playing
kitchen
his
knife
Wii
would
with
not
what
be
appears to
anywhere
a
near
virtual
as scary
reality
as a
cap
ghost
on.
child.
But it's not the game that's interesting. Look at the closet in the corner. As the man is playing, completely engrossed in the game, a small child-sized figure peers out around the corner. Its eyes are glowing. The man is completely
it's evil.
unaware as the mysterious figure moves around the corner and against the wall. It doesn't appear to have a body, although its
I
shape
love
is
how
somewhat
the
outlined,
quality of these
but you can
videos is
just make
always
out its
shittier
head.
somehow
The man
than
does not have
any
children,
low-grade
nor
technology
was
that's
anyone on
available
the
when it was
premises
made.
at the time. According to YouTuber Jojo Partridge in the comments, the man in the clip has experienced a few paranormal activities in his shop, including having a TV move forward toward him while he was sleeping. I couldn't track down a source to verify the story, but if true, it makes this creepy video even more compelling. Number 8. School's out. Although school's been out for quite a while in this abandoned place, some of the student specters haven't
Okay, the
left.
quality of this one's
Published by
okay.
Eric Gunner in November of 2018. This urban explorer
So it assuredly is going to-
encounters creepy paranormal activity in
I would say that probably 95% of the videos this guy covers are exclusively fake videos, because that's a huge industry on YouTube. People making fake videos of paranormal ghosts, because if you just waited for something weird to happen, you would just have a video of hearing a weird noise once, or I don't know, like a pencil rolls weird, and then that's it. So you have to fake them. But ever so often you'll get one that clearly is not fake. It's just sort of weird, and those are interesting. But they're incredibly rare.
Inside this school, while he's exploring the abandoned place, he seems to capture a child's ghost pale face in this dark window.
There's nothing
the
there.
scary face is peering inside through the bars on the window as the camera pans past.
It's nothing.
Later, a similar face is seen
It's
in the
absolutely
window of a
nothing.
classroom. This could be a trick of the light as the door closes, but coupled with the previous figure, its seeming second appearance is haunting. Is this school trapping its former alumni in its window panes? Another figure
Or is
appears
the
below
quality
on
of the
grounds
video
as the
simply
crew is walking
shit?
on the second floor. Some suggest it's the Night Watchman. Others think it's just another paranormal entity to add to the count.
Is this
Are
a
these
paranormal
ghosts
entity
still
or a
waiting for the last
315-pound
bell? They may be
man?
waiting for an eternity. Number 7. Invocation of Evil.
The answer may surprise you.
Answer. Published by Supernatural Memory Inc. in December of 2018.
What is this guy doing? Oh, no, go back. What was he doing?
The INC in December.
Oh,
of
hell yeah, what a
2018. This
badass.
brave dude is about to have his heart tested. The paranormal investigator has been to this mysterious haunted house before. Flashbacks show old wooden windows swinging open on their own. An object standing on a makeshift altar near a stone wall suddenly flies over, nearly knocking the candle beside it. What looks to be a piece of drywall falling down onto a window ledge, a candle perched on a wooden chair blowing out on its own, a creepy stone
Why would there
baby
be a
statue
candle
with red
perched on a
beads
wooden chair?
trailing from its eyes, a stuffed figure pinned to the wall with its head on fire.
Did you
the
see
blazing
it?
head falling to the floor.
Blink and
all
you'll
of
miss
this
it.
is to show just how haunted and haunting this place can be. Will we see more tonight?
I screamed
Ulysses
so
is in the
hard my
haunted home
pussy fell
again.
off.
While in one room nonchalantly talking and panning the camera around, a large piece of metal flies from the window into
This
the floor,
ghost child made my
shocking
eggs
him.
dry
It then
up.
drags across the floor.
I'll
for a
never
moment.
have children
in another
now.
room, a second window shutter pops open, and a strange little Christmas tree on the floor suddenly catches ablaze right before his eyes as the fire continues.
No, yeah.
Tree on the floor suddenly catches ablaze right before his eyes as the fire continues to blaze. Ulysses leaves the room and then the home. He turns around to find a chair on fire as well. The chair drags back to the wall and the door slams shut behind him. And for the grand
Door
finale,
shuts!
Ulysses is back in the house where he searches through the rooms. He enters one room and scans it. It is empty. He enters the next room, scans that, and it's empty too. Mind you, there's no cut in the film, but when he returns to the first floor, he turns again to the left corner, which was empty before, and spies this. A young girl with long dark hair, dressed all in white. He hurries to leave, but then turns around to look behind him. The girl is sitting in a chair against
But girl in
the wall.
chair!
That's the same chair that was on fire earlier. She stands up and points forward, then walks toward him. The great wooden door slams shut on him again. Let's take this as a sign to leave for
Is it real?
good.
You
Number
decide.
6. Poltergeist Pandemonium. We rarely
Yeah, this
see
is
such an
chills.
active poltergeist as
I'm
you'll
surprised you
see
guys
on
haven't heard of him.
TikToker Tammy G's videos, published in a compilation by D.
Like, he's
Dark
quite
Pascal in
famous.
November of 2021. This
Or
series
infamous.
of clips was originally posted on TikTok by the Haunted 136. Security
I knew
camera
about him
footage
already,
inside
but,
this haunted home
like, whenever I
captures a
hear him,
heavy-looking
I always think of
suitcase
Nanners
lid
now.
opening and closing on its
Because she
own.
also
In another
experiences
room,
such
a
joy
strange
from listening
banging
to his
sound
videos.
Can be heard out of sight, followed by a cry of pain. At the same time, multiple speckled orbs appear on camera. Is this just dust, or are the two events related? Next, in the kitchen, a cat prowls near the kitchen island. Moments later, a transparent figure enters the frame, moving near the cat. Then, in the same hallway where we saw the orbs, the door of an
The
armoire
orbs.
swings open suddenly. With no one standing by it, it opens wide, and an object inside the armoire jumps off one of the shelves.
He jumps. If you watch enough of these videos, you will get sick of hearing about ghost orbs. Like, ghost orbs are just dust that flies in front of the window, or the camera lens. But whenever you have nothing else to show, you show ghost orbs. Because they look kind of weird.
In the last clip, a strange orb is seen in the bathroom. The owner thinks the orb looks like a face. Many in the comments of Tammy's videos thinks her house looks like a horror movie. Some say
Horror
the spirit is just looking
a horror movie.
thinks her house looks like a horror movie. Some say the spirit is just looking for attention. What do you think about this poltergeist? Is it a pest, or is it just playing? Number 5. Possessive poltergeist.
Horror
What would it be
movie.
like to be afraid of your own home? This pair knows as they face off with the possessive poltergeists in their kitchen. Published by D. Dark Path Scary in November of 2021 and originally posted to TikTok by BETOMN. A couple pulls out their phone when they start.
What
to
the
hear
hell is being
noises coming
censored
from
here?
their kitchen. The scary video captures the pair hesitating to go check it out until the dude holding the camera finally makes a move. He steps carefully into their living room where their Christmas tree stands. Strange noises can be heard as he makes his way toward the kitchen. As he turns into the kitchen, something falls to the floor, but whatever the object is,
It could be
isn't
anything,
caught
but
on
why is it in the
camera.
center of the
Other
fucking
mysterious
screen?
Banging noises are heard that sound like metal against metal. It's not clear where this noise is
My understanding is that Chills, the reason why he does this voice is because whenever he first started, he thought it sounded more creepy. Like, it sounded more suspenseful than what his ordinary voice is. And then as time went on, it kind of just became its own thing.
coming from. The
What he
man
actually
turns on
sounds
the
like
lights
in
and
day-to-day
another bang is
conversation, I have no
heard.
idea.
Could it be happening inside the cupboards? He steps into the kitchen and scans the room, but it is completely still and silent. As he moves out of the room, some deep banging noises are heard.
It hasn't been 15 minutes yet.
But we see nothing. He turns on the light one last time.
Maybe it has. I have paused and rewind to laugh.
Answers. Later, though, his girlfriend is standing toward a door. Her
Earlier,
bent.
what was it he said?
Got out of bed.
Sounds like a horror film or something like that.
Doesn't respond, nor does she
I rewinded
move.
on that one a few
She
times.
stands still for a very long time. No reaction. Has this young woman been possessed? And if so, is that a deal breaker for
Ghosts
him?
only
This could be
possess
the end of their
incredibly
loving
attractive people.
relationship, all at the hands of a pesky
Ones that would play well on
poltergeist.
Instagram.
Number 4. One door opens. This house is haunted. Published in August of 2015 by Nemesis New Reincarnation.
Damn, lady.
The long and short of
Letting
this
him
video
kinda rock, aren't
was,
you?
a door is opening on its own, and there's no explanation as to why. In the creepy video, a woman is standing by the door in question. As they address some noise in the other room, asking if someone is there, they only receive more noise in response.
All right, I got the camera going. I got it going. Come on, let's get it.
Namicism, new reincarnation. What the hell?
They ask the spirit to respond 1 knock for yes and 2 for no.
It's
But
'cause
when
she's
they ask
scared
if
of the
he's not
ghost.
passed away, they receive 2 knocks.
Are you dead?
To confirm, they receive a single knock when asking if he's alive. After a moment, the bathroom door slowly opens on its own. When they open the door, they check behind it and scan the room. There is no one there. One YouTuber in the comments,
I would love if you could see,
Tamara
like,
Perez,
the guy that opened the
suggests
door
that
behind
the
the
two
mirror.
in the bathroom are too close to each other. She says this can make a portal. Is that what's happening here?
Can make a
I'm
portal.
not so sure because that wouldn't explain the knocking.
The ghost
Number
explains that it
3,
stole her
witch
bra.
on a ledge. A
She
churl
asked
is
to
a
receive it
legendary
back,
creature
but the
from
ghost does not
Southeastern Asia
want.
folklore. Somewhat like a witch, she is said to be the ghost of an unpurified living thing. Churls are believed to target the men in their families. She is a revenant shapeshifter who can suck up a man's life force. Published by QG Curioso in July of 2021, this scary image, believed to show a churl in the flesh, has been trending in the Brazilian YouTube community.
It's kind of funny that
According to the
most
YouTuber,
ghosts
the
just
image
end up
was taken in
being
Pakistan by
some
a local
disheveled person
celebrity.
that's dressed
Once
weirdly.
the photo was circulated online, it quickly went viral, and people wondered if this was real or staged. In the photo, a creepy witchy woman is sitting on a ledge, while a crowd has gathered below
churros.
watching her. Many have their phones out, photographing the strange figure. Some doubt its veracity simply because anyone's instinct would be to run in
Veracity.
the other direction.
It attacked
Instead of
with
running,
great
everyone is
veracity.
standing still, observing. Are they all enchanted by the churl? If so, they'd better shake it off before their life forces are taken from them. Number 2, Men in Black.
Are taken
the
from
Men in
them.
Black is the nickname of a rumored organization that has sparked numerous theories online. They received
they
their
come.
name due to their outfit descriptions: white dress shirt, black suit jacket and tie, sunglasses, and in some cases wearing a white fedora. On April 18th, 2012, footage was made public of an alleged encounter with the Men in Black. An unnamed caller detailed a story about how he came to his hotel job one day, and his
Okay.
co-workers described how 2 men dressed in black suits entered the hotel and
Aren't all men
asked
that wear
to
suits dressed in
speak
black
with the
suits?
caller.
He said, I need to tell you about something that happened. I heard that you heard that there were some men looking for you.
When they were told he wasn't in, they apparently didn't seem convinced and lurked around the lobby
seem very
for some
wide.
time before disappearing out the door. Another coworker claimed the men approached and questioned her. She was distressed when recollecting the encounter, and the caller attests the woman started to cry.
And
Okay.
He said, and the scariest thing, their eyes were so big and so blue that they almost hypnotized me a little bit. And she started to cry.
The phone call ends with the caller revealing his
Yes,
coworkers
she was on
maintained
PCP at the
men
time,
never
but that's beside the
blinked,
point.
Not once.
And she said one more thing before she left. She said, these men, they didn't blink. Not once did I see them blink.
The video footage does indeed show 2 men in the described attire entering the lobby. What do you think? Is it real? Is it a prank?
And she
Or
also
is it a
added that
hoax
she was
committed
so
by the
scared that her
caller?
pussy fell
Almost
off.
10 years
Not
later,
again.
We still don't have a definitive
As you can
answer.
hear, her pussy
I've got
fell
a
right
challenge
off.
for you. Since you've made it this far, why
Now
not
for our
like
number
this
one
video and hit
video.
subscribe in the next 5
Please
seconds?
step over the pile of
because I upload
pussies.
4 new scary videos every week.
Alright.
Chillin' YT and tap that follow
If you've ever
button
wondered
to
what Chills
find
looks like in
out.
real life.
Into song energetic entity. Although these dishes aren't yet breaking out into song like in Beauty and the Beast, they do seem to be coming alive. Published in July of 2021, YouTuber Sylvia C says the scary entity is gaining more energy, and she has plenty of footage to prove it. The creepy clip begins with a bang, as plates set in a small dish drying rack begin
I like
moving
how it
on
looks
their own.
exactly like someone lifting a wire.
One small white plate
What could it
moves
be?
first, and then the whole rack jerks to the right, knocking a heavy cup into the sink. Next, a white dish jumps on the rack, disturbing it slightly. Shortly after, a yellow dish does
Does
the
it now?
same. And the dish
Ugh.
rack isn't the only thing moving. A set of pots stacked on the stove also swivel back and forth on their own. Still, this kitchen doesn't seem to be inviting anyone to be their guest. On the contrary, I feel like it's inviting the exact opposite. There's no doubt that 2021 has been a scary year.
That was his number one
so I
video.
made this mega compilation of the best scary videos from 20.
Yeah, so, Chills is a very specific flavor of terrible video. Like, his videos are quite bad. But that's because the content that he's drawing from is worse than that. Okay. Now, unmuted. We will not be continuing the Bionicle retrospective because I don't actually give a shit about Bionicle. And he seems to be speaking very lovingly and reverentially about Bionicle in a way that I don't understand at all. So I can't actually watch it in any way that's meaningful to me. This is Cars of the Future from 1948.
If you happen to see this trim little buggy zoom up and quickly swing into a tight parking spot, you'll be looking at a remarkable new car, the Davis three-wheeler.
Oh no, not again.
It takes off. Streamlined as a plane is this unique creation with designer Gary Davis at the wheel.
Hope it doesn't turn out like that British three-wheeler car.
It incorporates several aircraft principles, such as adaptation of the tricycle landing gear system. A switch on the dashboard operates built-in hydraulic jacks and makes tire changing an exhilarating experience. The single front wheel explains the car's parking dexterity.
That is so
And keeps it
dangerous.
on an even keel in the event of a blowout, even at a top speed of 115 miles an hour. There are no fenders. Wraparound steel bumpers protect removable body panels. This little chariot can really run you around in circles. What's the trouble, Gary? Uh-oh, a modern Frankenstein. And here's another streamlined marvel on wheels. It only needs a pair of
What
wings
the
to be
fuck?
at home in the sky. Formidable indeed is its nose. With riveted aluminum fuselage, entry hatch, and rugged empennage,
This beauty can carry at least 15 immigrants across the border whenever you
being
want.
earthbound, the monster is trundled out onto the highway to frighten other motorists. If you're looking for a 1960 model, this may well be it. Somewhat less spectacular is this sporty new creation of Gordon Burig of Pennsylvania.
It's probably the best looking one so
designer
far.
of the famous Cord. Front fenders of laminated fiberglass turn with the wheels made of light magnesium.
A good lesson of engineering is that the more complicated something is, the more likely something's going to go wrong.
In the
Which is why
cockpit,
so
or
many
above
things
the
are
driver's
boring,
compartment,
because they work.
Mr. Burig operates the controls, closely resembling those of a plane.
Why?
Thus, aircraft methods are becoming increasingly popular in automotive science.
They aren't. They aren't at all.
Dentist is working in my mouth while the Netflix
Okay.
documentary is playing. I glance over at the TV.
This is probably something Sharkface added or something. Lots of people like Germa. I don't really know anything about Germa, though.
And
Not
there
you?
are two turtles having sex on the TV. Just fucking on screen.
Yeah.
And I'm like this. And remember, the TV's over here. So
Is
I really
Yulimo?
have to like look hard, and there's two turtles just going at it. I remember the episode was called Courting. I'm okay, you know. It doesn't take. Sometimes it's really easy for me to laugh and get into a laughing fit, but whatever. That's fucking nature. It doesn't matter. He's sitting there, still doing his thing. Okay. Yeah. You okay? You okay? Yeah. Little do I know that this keeps going. The two turtles are having sex. Another.
Oh, dentist. Okay, dentist story. All right, this makes more sense in context now. He was at the dentist, and in the corner of his eye, he could see a documentary about turtles.
Another turtle comes from behind the other turtle and starts punching this turtle in the back of the head.
And in concert,
over again.
fucks him in the ass.
And I'm like, why is it happening? I'm telling you, this is like CIA level training that I had to go through here to not laugh while the guy was fucking in my mouth doing things. That's not the end of the story. So I'm going like this. And what do I see again? While I fucking peer my eyes down. Another turtle shows up. Just when I think I was out of the woods here. Another fucking turtle starts to fight the rest of the turtles, and two of them are having sex with each other.
Hold on, no, go back. I wanted to see that turtle's expression. This one right here. This turtle, let's go by it. Let's go through this frame by frame. This turtle's in the throes of fucking ecstasy. Like this one, this frame right here. This one. I really like this frame. Like, this one's just like swimming. This is female. It's just like, I'm just trying to get this shit done. Like, if I don't do this, then I'm dying as a species. This one is putting forth his best effort. This one is just really enjoying himself. This is a good one, too. Is it in yet? Oh. He's like roaring. Oh. And the fact that the camera is so shaky is adding a lot.
Fight the rest of the turtles, and one of two.
No, being in motion is even better.
Fight the rest of the turtles, and one of two.
Because his head bobs a little bit.
Another fucking turtle starts to fight the rest of the turtles, and one of
You see his head wiggle?
Another fucking turtle starts to fight the rest of the turtles, and one of two are having sex with each other.
Wait. Oh, damn it. There's one less bit.
Dentist is working in my...
No, stop it. Son of a bitch. I'm trying to see the turtles fuck. Motherfucker. What part of I'm trying to watch turtles fuck do you not understand?
Sex with each other.
I think it's right here. Yes. Like a... His head thrown back. Oh! She's just flapping around. Everyone else is falling behind, and this dude's having the time of his life. That's what I find amazing. Like, I could understand why you might have a laughing fit in a dentist's chair when you're watching this one in particular.
We're having sex with each other.
He's dead. He's just dead. Okay. Grant Morrison explains why Superman is relatable. Yeah, sure. Why not?
The 50s, the Mort Wiesinger stuff, which were hugely
Tell me this
successful.
lie.
They were read by kids, they were read by little girls, little boys. I think what was great was, and what he did was to take things we all understood. Like you say, Superman suddenly is a dog, and he's got a den
dog
with all his stuff in it, and he's got relatives who are aliens, and he's got friends.
Hello, Miss Gray. We're watching,
stories are all still about
we're watching turtles have sex. We're watching turtles have group
on an
sex.
epic scale. So if Superman walks the dog, he walks it past Saturn.
The doggy walks past
He's
Saturn?
just like your dad. He's still got to go out and walk the dog, and he still comes home and Lois gives him a hard time.
Superman, something's wrong with my face! Oh my god, it is. It's fucked up.
Those are all the things that make the story, you know, because the great thing about Superman is even when you can juggle stars, Lois Lane can undermine them with one cruel word. And that was
I can't actually hear what
for
he's
me,
saying
is
at
the
all.
fact- That's why we made him even more powerful than ever, because everybody kept saying, you can't write a Superman story, because if he can do anything, then what conflicts are there?
Yeah, I don't think many people really care
Emotional
about
conflicts,
Superman.
The biggest ones, the things we all understand. Superman is a character that's
I
around
understand why
long
people
before
like
I was
Superman,
born.
though.
He's a character who'll be around long after I'm dead. So what is he? He's more real than I am. He's more part of the world than I can ever hope to be. And the idea of getting to almost to work on something like that, what is that imaginative thing that is able to reproduce itself each day?
I think he's doing a really bad job of
Generations
explaining
talent
why people
to
like Superman,
refresh
though.
Its potency, you know, it's a very weird cybernetic entity, a superhero.
What the
in a
hell are you
long-running
talking
universe,
about?
Because so many people have worked on it, and they've outlived their own creators even, and yet somehow always a new generation comes along and says, I want to keep Superman alive. And I find that very interesting, almost magical.
I feel like he's talked this whole time and explained nothing. He's just rambling about cybernetics and dogs.
You know, some days we feel really great, and then some days the kryptonite comes along and takes you down. In the same way, we can wake up feeling like Batman, where everything, the world's threatening, and we're the only thing that can stand against it, or else we're
What
so
are you
depressed
talking
we can't get out
about?
of bed. And so I think the characters always, they stand for something, always. And the minute they stop standing for anything, I think they will lose the potency, but that hasn't happened yet.
What? What the fuck you...
In the 1970s...
No, okay, no. Oh my god. That's what Grant Morrison is like when he's talking? Jesus, no wonder. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, I have no clue what the hell he thought he was talking about. Like, I know that he... And because he's British, apparently, you can't understand a word that he's fucking saying, because those people have no idea how to speak English anymore. I will explain in my own thoughts why people like Superman. The whole appeal of Superman from people that I have seen that are obsessed with Superman is basically just the idea that Superman is sort of a flying daddy figure. He is this perfect person that will take care of you and will love you and comfort you. And he serves as this big beacon of light. It's for people that basically feel hopeless in real life, that love to have the idea of this, like, daddy figure. Like, that's what it is. Just, it's a surrogate daddy figure. They want someone like that, and that makes them feel good. To see someone fly down next to the suicidal girl and go, "There's still hope, suicidal girl." And then the suicidal girl goes, "You're right, Superman. I'm going to change my life and be a better person, and I'm going to grow, and everything's full of hope now." And then the person reading it is like, "Ooh, the suicidal girl turned things around." And then they will regurgitate that same fucking story for the next 30 fucking years. Because every time that I hear anyone talk about how great Superman is, everyone needs to bring up that same stupid panel and talk about almost nothing else. That's what the appeal of Superman is. He's just a surrogate daddy. That's it. That's all there is to him.
An anime was produced that was so bad,
Yeah, surrogate
so
Eli.
insane, so terrible in every single aspect that most
yes.
people dare not speak
The
its
best
name.
bad anime.
You think you're ready for it, but you're not. The anime that I'm going to talk about today was done by Studio Neck, a company that I'm sure you've never heard of. But as far as Japanese
Superman flawed?
1970s
Not
anime
really.
companies go,
Not in a way
they're
that would be
very
satisfying.
well known for their incredibly low quality anime. As an example, they once tried to make an anime about an invisible detective, and even though they did not need to draw the main character half the time because he was invisible, it still ended up looking so bad that they weren't even allowed to show it on Japanese television. And 4 years later, they scraped together the anime that we're gonna talk about today. Today's video is about Charge Man Ken, an anime with my name on it.
Yeah, I never knew what this was actually from. Chargeman Ken.
Charge
You know the famous still shot of someone holding back a little girl with a knife? That's what this is from.
Man Ken stars a 10-year-old boy with a really strong laser blaster on his never-ending quest to eliminate every single alien off the face of planet Earth. Now I could tell you that this anime is set in the future, and then Ken is a
Very
superhero,
futuristic.
and then he's constantly fighting aliens and just blowing them to smithereens. But trying to explain the story of Chargeman
That's the
Ken
same expression
is
that
a
Turtle was making when it was
complete
orgasming.
waste of time. It's just a series of events connected with one-frame explosions. Hearing spoilers
There
doesn't
she
even
is.
make a dent in this show.
I like
That's
this little
how
girl
little
already.
sense this anime makes. And I'm talking on a sound level, I'm talking on story levels, every single aspect of it. Let's start with how long the episodes are. Now, if I asked you how long you think an episode of an anime is supposed
Aw.
to be, what would you say?
I like their green
Something
hair.
like maybe 22, 20 minutes or so, right? How about 5? Each episode of Chargeman Ken lasts 5 minutes long, and each story is so short that there was literally no time to explain anything. They don't explain the story, they don't explain who the characters are, nothing gets explained.
There she is.
This is especially important because there's no crazy plan that the aliens in this anime will not try. And boy, do they have a lot of plans. One episode,
Yeah, it's
they
a shame
find
that Superman's
someone
son
having
was
a pretty
aged
hard
up and
time
ruined.
at home, so they follow him around the neighborhood until he lights a house on fire. But the Duralians, they know how to take advantage of a good fire, so they force a kid to light other houses on fire, not because they couldn't do it themselves, but because they thought it was funny. How about that one time that they resurrected an entire species of man-eating butterfly just so
Okay.
Chargeman Ken could immediately make them go extinct 3 minutes later? Or that time they somehow created a vinyl record that makes people go insane when they listen to it? Another one of their plans
Most of
involves
them, right?
turning into nurses and then sneaking into Japanese hospitals to destroy the food supply so people, they just couldn't have kids anymore. That's
that
the
actually
level
happened.
Of alien genius we're talking
Especially
about
in
here.
Canada.
But they're aliens,
Actually,
right?
that's still
They're
happening
just
in
bad
Canada.
guys, so it's okay if Ken just vaporizes them on the spot with his space laser, right? Well, yes, but also no. Here's the thing about the Duralians. Despite having spaceship and laser beam eyeballs, most of their plans involve shape-shifting into regular-looking humans. So even
Right.
though they're aliens, most of the time they look exactly like normal people. This has the hilarious side effect of making Chargeman Ken into this psychotic 10-year-old who is just constantly taking people on a one-way trip to the Shadow Realm. One of their plans involved an
it could be
alien
crazier.
changing into an exchange student and making his sister fall in love with him, only for Ken to immediately eliminate this mysterious handsome kid the second that he finds out that he was an alien in disguise. Ken didn't tell anybody this was an alien, by the way, so one day there's just one less person at Chargeman Ken's school. There's missing people all over the town, but he just laughs in his sister's face as he tells her that the boy moved
that's
to
his
another
sister.
school
Okay.
instead. Absolute madness. Now, you would think he has a weakness, but he's basically unstoppable because the show just hands him new abilities whenever he feels like it. There's an episode of Chargeman
So
Ken
like Superman.
where he gained mind-reading powers and then never used them again. In
Like
another
Superman.
episode, Chargeman Ken punches a boxer so hard in the stomach that he forces him to change back into an alien.
Like the
I would
time
like
Superman
to
fought
point out
Muhammad Ali.
that this is a boxer that one scene earlier ended a man's career because he punched him too hard. Towards the end of the series, they just
Remember
tie
that time
Ken
that
to a
Goku
rock and leave him there
communicated via
because they've already
telepathy to
tried
Krillin that he
pretty
wanted
much
Vegeta to
everything
survive?
that they can
Then he never
possibly
used
throw at
telepathy
him.
ever again.
Does Ken have any weaknesses at all? Well, in the second episode, the Duralians come up with a plan to block out the sun, and when they pull it off,
Man
for
has
a brief
long
moment,
since
their
envied the
leader
ability
yells
to block
out,
out the sun.
"Ha ha ha! Ken is helpless in the dark." So you think that he gets his powers from the sun, but later on, and we're talking like 50 episodes later, right?
50
There was an
episodes.
entire story dedicated to them trying to figure out what Chargeman Ken's
Well, remember, these are
weakness is.
5-minute-long
So that means
episodes.
either their plan to block out the sun in episode 2 was a complete coincidence because they're jerks, or that means they aired the episodes of this anime in the wrong order. I have never seen an anime.
Oh my god, this is 29 minutes long? Okay, we're not watching the whole thing. I just needed to pause it for a second because the way that this guy is like screaming everything, I know it's supposed to be him playing up that this is a bad anime, but it is actually, like, getting on my nerves. It's like wearing my mind down. Like, listen to it. Listen to him scream.
Do that. Chargeman Ken is basically unstoppable. He never loses, and his explosion count is so high that it puts all other anime characters to shame. By the end of this series, he eliminates an entire species of sentient aliens, an entire species of butterfly, numerous people that probably weren't even aliens to begin with.
Man, his sentences are real run-ons, too. But so far, actually, he hasn't really made any good points so far. Like, the most damning thing has been that the animation is not good, and that the episodes themselves are only 5 minutes long. Other than that, this is kind of just par for the course for anime. Like, sure, they brought back man-eating butterflies, then he killed them. Okay. Who cares? I wonder what this turns into later. Is it just him really just ranting about the same thing?
For anything. But this anime ended up doing something
Well,
that
his
I've
voice
never
didn't change
seen an
in 10
anime
minutes
do
after
in my
this?
entire life.
Alright.
It was so insane that it did not even
get to it.
register in my brain. I had to play the episode. There
Okay.
it was. For exactly 2 frames of animation, they photographed a hand. The second that I saw this, I fully expected to wake up to people with clipboards congratulating me on escaping from some sort of simulation. I don't even know how to respond to that. Bad animation is one thing. Bad animation I can handle, but they photographed a hand. Which brings us to an actual episode that defies explanation so hard that I had to make a YouTube video to talk about it. Dynamite in the Brain.
This is... Okay. You remember how we watched a video about some guy talking about where do all the kobolds come from? And then it turned out that he didn't have any information, and he really just wanted to talk about some book that he found that had nothing really to do with that subject. I get the feeling this guy just wanted to talk about this one thing, that he's just now getting to it.
Even the title of the episode cannot prepare you for what you are about to witness. You wouldn't think that an episode of an anime called Dynamite in the Brain would have dynamite in someone's brain, but it does. It starts with Ken watching a movie, he's watching some dinosaurs on the screen, and then he bumps into a professor that offers him some food. You know, nice guy. But on his way out, Ken witnesses
Remember,
something
these are
that
5-minute long
only a
episodes.
true hero of justice would not panic about. Dr. Volga has been kidnapped, and a second later, a news station talks about how the professor is holding a conference between different countries to try and make the world a better place. You know, they got aliens attacking them. Ken just saw that guy get knocked out. So Ken rushes to the conference, busts in there saying, "There's no way that that's the real Dr. Volga. I just saw that man get thrown into a car like a slab of meat." And up until now, Ken just thinks that basically everybody in the world is an alien. But the professor walks past a mirror and he has a reflection. Like I said before, nothing in Chargeman Ken makes any sense because they just don't explain anything. The show just assumes you know that the aliens don't show up in mirrors. So with no other conclusion
Why would
to
they not
make,
show up in
Ken
mirrors?
uses a brand new
They're not
mind-reading power and hears a ticking sound coming from inside the professor's head. That's right, he's got dynamite in the brain. Hard cut to Ken's spaceship. He apologizes and tells the doctor that he's a human robot and that he's about to explode and that there's no time to explain. So Ken presses a button dedicated entirely to dropping his co-pilot through a hole in the floor, and Dr. Volga falls into a spaceship where he explodes on contact.
Okay, that's pretty good.
The episode ends with Ken saying that the real Dr. Volga would have understood that he was a robot that was going to explode.
Okay. This makes me wish this was true. That's like that one episode of Star Trek Voyager where Tuvok and Neelix combine into one person named Tuvix, and no one likes him, and Janeway at the end kills him, even as he begs for his life, because she wants to split that character back into 2 people. That would be like Voyager flying over a Borg cube and opening up the bomb bay doors and just releasing Tuvix out the back, and Tuvix's like limp body twirling through space into the Borg cube before it, like, atomizes into a nuclear explosion and destroys the Borg cube. That's pretty intense.
Explode in disguise, and how awful they feel about the whole situation. There are episodes of Charge Man Ken that are so impossible to describe that I can't even talk about them. You think I'm spoiling the anime by telling you about this show, but I'm not. This anime actually makes less sense the more that you talk about it. What's my favorite
I
episode
haven't watched
of Charge
that
Man
yet.
Ken? Oh, that's a tough one. They're all
Ranged, I
so
haven't seen it
good.
yet.
How about the episode
I do know it's there, though.
where, since it's the future, one of Charge Man Ken's
I've seen the
classmates
TNG one, though.
is having a rough time. He's bummed out because his dad lives a 1970s lifestyle. And
By the way, I also think it's a cop-out whenever YouTubers talk about, like, they're criticizing something, but then they say, this thing is so crazy, I'm not even gonna show you. Which tells me that it probably isn't that crazy. They're just trying to make it seem like it's crazy.
And being the only sane person in this entire series filled with exploding robots and kids with space cars, this guy, he decides,
That's a great
you know
warp
what,
cycle.
I'm out. Vinyl records that drive you insane, exploding professors, I think I've had just about enough of this. So the aliens, they come out from behind some trees, and they say to themselves, well, this just kind of works out for everybody. We want to get rid of all the humans, and you're a human, so just do it. Come on, man, do it. This upsets him so much that he changes his mind, and then Charge Man Ken gives the aliens a face full of blaster, as he always does. This is the only episode in the entire show that makes any sort of sense. In the depths of my confusion, I cannot for the life of me figure out how this got made. You couldn't even air this on modern TV, let alone the 1970s. I don't know how they pulled it off in the first place. I'm investigating it like the wreckage of a crashed helicopter, and I can't.
Okay. Yeah, I can't keep watching this video. This guy's voice is really just driving me absolutely insane. I get it. The anime is not amazing. It actually does not seem to be as upsetting as he is trying to communicate. I don't think any amount of him screaming is going to convince me otherwise. Okay. Mr. Spriggs barbecue commercial. This is a 1 minute long.
Baby, I'm hungry.
Oh, this is so much more soothing.
Let's head to Mr. Spriggs and get us some ribs. 1017 South Air Depot. I need that SPRIGGS. When I'm dealing with Mr. Spriggs, I only deal with the best. Gotta have that SPRIGGS.
I really want to go to Mr. Spriggs.
Mr. Spriggs barbecue. It's always Mr. Spriggs barbecue. Tender. Mr. Spriggs barbecue. Falls off the bone. Mr. Spriggs barbecue. Spriggs barbecue. Mr. Spriggs barbecue. It's always Mr. Spriggs barbecue. Tender. Mr. Spriggs barbecue. Falls off the bone. Mr. Spriggs barbecue. Mr. Spriggs barbecue. Oklahoma's best barbecue. Mr. Spriggs.
That's pretty good. Although I will criticize if they overemphasize just repeating Mr. Spriggs over and over again. Did that say... Wait, no. Did that say special thanks to Will Ferrell? Oh, okay. It's a different Will Ferrell. Okay. No. Okay. Special thanks, Mr. Ferrell. Hey, what is this? Coffee beans into a coffee mug. This is going to be another making something weird video. After listening to that YouTube anime review guy scream at the top of his lungs for about 15 minutes, it was nice hearing Mr. Spriggs barbecue. This make me want to eat barbecue, though. I wish more cartoons, more commercials were like that. Ooh, that's something about that's satisfying. Remember whenever I was talking about that one chicken sandwich that I got at Wendy's that was covered in, like, goo for some reason? It looked like this. It really did look like it was just covered in some sort of resin. Or cum. Like someone at the Wendy's was making the chicken sandwich and they just whipped it out and beat off right onto a chicken patty. And there was a lot of it. They were really excited. And no, I didn't eat it. Did I? No, I didn't eat it. Probably. Okay, so he's going to use this resin to adhere a bunch of coffee beans together so that he can make a mug out of it. Okay, seal it, let it harden inside the coffee bag. It is probably a dumb way of doing this, but it's a novelty way of doing it. It plays well for a YouTube video. I wonder what this device is actually used for, conventionally. Yep, that is hard as a brick. Yeah, I guess it would probably be stuck to it. I would probably at least try to get it off conventionally, though. Because this is making a huge mess. Wow. Okay, so you can't use the bottom. Looks like the top is also not particularly great. Yeah, lighting's gonna make a huge mess either way. I've always loved the look of it, though. It's one of those things that if I lived in a different life, I would love to be able to do something like this. I've never been very good with my hands, because I'm a little bit too impatient. But there's something about being able to do this and make these perfect indentations and whatever it is that you're carving that's always appealed to me. This guy probably has tons of ants. This is how you get them. This is how you get all the ants. Even though they're a nuisance, I always did like harvester ants. Like the little itty bitty ones. I think they're cool little guys. Okay, what is he doing? Okay. Is he going to apply that to the sides? Okay. Oh, he is going to use that. Okay. I would have shaved that part off. Like this, I love that. Something about that is really, really satisfying. Hell yeah. That part seems dangerous. Yeah, he had to stop it with his foot. Because you could very easily lose all your progress there in the final couple seconds. Oh, okay. Now the actual progress can get started. Now he's going to cut off this end. Okay. I probably would have taken more off that top. He's going to have to shave down quite a bit of it, though. That noise. Something about it was alarming, but kind of satisfying. How was it for you, baby? Oh my god, you're gonna have to air hose me out. Yeah, no, baby. Air hose me. Use the high PSI setting. I'm gonna need it. You forged a knife the other day? That's pretty cool. How'd it come out? If you don't mind me asking, Mr. Executioner. Something that I've always wanted to make or do. Like well, something specific? I don't know. I've always liked making things that are useful. Like mugs or jars or bowls or things like that. I actually have thrown a few things that could be used as mugs and stuff, but I'm an amateur, so none of them really came out perfectly well. I do have one bowl that I'm proud of, though, because it's very pretty. A lot of that came from the glaze. It's a little bit lopsided, but that's all. Take your knife. Oh, it's one piece. It'll load. Like I've said, my download's really bad tonight, so I'm having trouble loading anything, which is kind of weird. For some reason, YouTube doesn't seem affected, but Twitter especially does not work. I would not be able to help you on the pottery wheel. It's really hard to control how you throw things on a wheel. You think it would be easy. It is not. Number 15. Do you have to glaze something like that? I'm not sure how making a knife works in that regard. Turned out nice, though. Has a unique look to it. It's pretty cool. Keep at it, man. Seems like it's fun. Probably pretty relaxing, too. Yeah, if you're having stuff explode in the kiln, that usually is a result of, oh, I can't remember. But I think it's a result of the temperature being wrong. Oh, there's still some spots in it, though. Air bubbles? Yeah, yes, that too, yes. Actually, there's many different things that can go wrong. Alright, gonna shave off that last bit. I don't understand why people do this instead of us using a reciprocating saw. I mean, that's what they're there for. So you don't have to do that. Yeah, for a first attempt, that's really an amazing knife. Like, of course it could be better, but it's the first knife ever. Yeah, keep at it, man. Now I will eat the sawdust. Which I guess you technically could. Whoa, what's he using here? Or what's he making? I bet all the people, like if you show this to someone from like 1,000 years ago, they would probably be pretty pissed they had to do all this the hard way. and you're just like spinning it around and just holding your thing out there and doing it almost perfectly. They just watch you do it for 5 minutes and scream in agony. Oh, will it fit? Not quite. Sand it down a little bit. Will it fit? Maybe it's not tight enough. Maybe he sanded it down a little too much. That's gonna have to be exact as fuck. That's pretty damn good. Ooh. I love stuff like this. I wouldn't want to do it myself, but I like the look of it. I love the sound of it. It's less of a waste if the thing that you use to make it is just some piece of crap wood that was lying around. Like, there's lots of junk wood around here, since, you know, the woods are just out back. So if I could just walk outside, pick up some limb that's on the ground, and then turn it into something, that would be pretty cool. Watching it change shape like this is really satisfying. Yeah, I like watching restoration videos too. I've asked people to submit them. We've watched a few already though. Kinda don't like that sound. Reminds me of the dentist. How do you submit videos? You go to my Discord and just leave a YouTube link inside of my Watch Later channel. While also trying to avoid reposts. Of course, if you want to avoid a repost, just post the link URL inside of the search feature. I wouldn't want to do this part especially. I hate working with these stupid little gaskets. They're always a pain in the ass. Don't you fucking dare end it this quickly. Show the result. It's fine. That ended too quickly. It's fine. Nothing too amazing. I enjoy the process, though. What went wrong between DreamWorks and Aardman? You say so. First, we need to identify what exactly is an Aardman.
Endearing and captivating films with their stop-motion animation. But how did they get so swept up in Hollywood?
I know what you're talking about now.
What impact did this have on their films? In the 90s, Jeffrey Katzenberg, having overseen the Disney animation unit from films that have struggled to perform following Walt's death into the Renaissance and some of their all-time greatest movies, he felt like he deserved a promotion. And indeed, when the position of second-in-command opened up, Disney's CEO Michael Eisner offered the job to himself. This led to Katzenberg's resignation in 1994, who would go on to form DreamWorks later that year. and
Michael
he was
Eisner
determined
retired
to
a while
outdo
back,
Disney.
didn't he?
A bitter feud had been born. Like DreamWorks' first
Because he
animated
used to be a
movie,
big
Prince of
political
Egypt, an
figure in
idea
terms of
that
people
Eisner had
despising him.
personally refused to make, was set to release in November 1998. But Disney then scheduled Pixar's A Bug's Life for that exact
Give me
same
those sun
weekend.
chips.
So DreamWorks had to postpone The Prince to December 1998 and instead rushed their own
I need you in my
Bug-themed
life
movie
right now.
Ants to October 1998, 1 month before A Bug's Life.
Yeah, I think it's some lady.
What went on at Disney had nothing to do with Pixar, and they were incredibly upset at this move, but Katzenberg was taking no prisoners. He helped seal the deal with Disney and Pixar in the first place, so
I remember watching
DreamWorks, he
Ants
wanted
when,
his own
like a year
Pixar
after it came
and
out,
set his
and
sights
being
on a
disgusted by how it
small
looked.
British studio in Bristol known for making things like this.
No crackers, Gromit. We've forgotten the crackers.
Aardman were very successful, not just with commercials and music videos, but animated shorts like Morph and eventually Wallace and Gromit, which would bag them 2 Oscars. They needed help to take them into feature films, and even Disney were interested. But Katzenberg had wanted Aardman ever since seeing Creature Comforts and scooped them up for a 5-movie deal, a move that mirrored Disney's initial 3-movie deal with Pixar.
Do we have a deal?
And so, Aardman's first movie, Chicken Run, could finally take flight.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a wonderful audience.
I don't remember what Chicken Run is about.
This was
I know it's them trying to
departure for
leave,
animated
but I don't
movies
remember
at the
why.
time. Not because it was stop motion. Stop motion animation as feature films were relatively new, but not all that unusual at the time, such as big hits The Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant
And it's
Peach.
been
What made Chicken
like 30
Run
years
stand
since I've
out
seen
so
Nightmare Before
differently
Christmas.
was how British it was.
Poppycock.
What did you do, you great pudding?
I didn't do out. Was that English?
Despite the star
Do
power
out?
of
Great pudding?
The LA Times published a glossary of British slang like Nelly podging and wazzock. Katzenberg defended the codswallop, saying, "Do you literally know what it means? No. Do you understand what it means? Yes." Not only have people never seen a movie that looks like this, they've never seen a movie that talks like this. But that's its
Yeah,
charm.
okay, Steele.
And it was a gamble. The Road to El Dorado had released that same year and underperformed in the box office, so all eyes
Show
were
it.
on this.
No, god damn it. Anytime you talk about Road to El Dorado, you have one job. There's one thing you have to do, and you didn't do it there. God damn you.
Quirky plasticine movie with words that Americans wouldn't understand. And it worked.
What?
Chicken Run was, and remains to this day, the highest grossing stop-motion
Yes,
animated
exactly.
movie to date. Even outdoing Nightmare Before Christmas and anything Laika has produced. Award-winning, universal acclaim from critics, and was even partially responsible for the creation of the Best Animated Movie category at the Oscars. Not bad for a chick flick. The creation of Chicken Run was a heavy toll on Aardman, as their first feature-length film involved
Sharkface, you probably would not
everyone
like
working
Road to El Dorado.
continuously to optimistically make maybe like
It really feels
6
like a movie that
seconds
was
per
made
week.
exclusively so that
Katzenberg
they
would take
could
regular
animate
flights to
one
Bristol to
incredibly
check
hot
in on the
lady.
progress.
Jeffrey was sort of like Mrs. Tweedy. He would come into the coop and open up one of the rooms and catch us all.
It is very suggestive.
During one of these visits, he would ask, "So, what's the next film?" Given that this one film alone took up everything,
Also, the people
they
are
hadn't
not very
had
good
the
people.
chance to even think about what to do next. They were still a small studio. They couldn't make multiple movies at once like the animation powerhouses of Disney or Pixar. Aardman considered an idea based on The Tortoise and the Hare, but as the script wasn't coming together, they bailed on that and moved on to some old favorites. Now, say on one side you had chicken, and on the other side you had cheese. Which of these two would you say were my own personal preference? Place your bets while I tell you about this video's sponsor, Priorities. Courtesy of Clarendon Games, Priorities... and the short films that sent up American movie tropes of Hitchcock thrillers and Hollywood action carried that homely sense of unique Aardman charm.
I'm saying that the
Ron
movie
Trout
doesn't have much
especially
depth to
is
it.
a masterpiece, and the cheese-loving duo deserved a chance to charm the moviegoers too. But there
Also,
was a
you don't
problem.
like watching animation.
Shrek.
We've covered this.
Shrek happened. Now they had the taste of the big money, Disney level of money. Chicken Run was the highest grossing DreamWorks animation movie until Shrek doubled it.
Hey, get off it.
And unfortunately for Wallace and Gromit, the Great Vegetable Plot, this resulted in a lot more studio meddling, such as the name.
They did a lot of marketing research and came back with, I'm afraid vegetables are a negative with kids.
So what we have here is a major culture clash. Here is a Hollywood mogul determined to outdo
Better
his
stop eating
competitors,
these sun
and he
chips
wants his movies to be
so I can save
loud
up
and brash
for later.
because that's what works. And here was a man
He said
who
eating
really
more
liked
sun chips?
cheese.
I'm just crackers about cheese.
It was never going to work, but Katzenberg, a notorious micromanager, was going to try. First up was the British
Well, Sharkface, I'm also making
Remember,
fun.
but that's its charm. No, you don't. Boop, it's gone. Some lines of dialogue had to be re-recorded to be better understood by American audiences.
I'm sure, like,
Sometimes
actually,
in the
you would probably be fine
conversation,
with it.
you just got the idea that they just wish it was a bit less British.
You would also
There was a
complain.
huge argument over the word marrow that Katzenberg insisted Americans wouldn't know.
How is that prize marrow of yours coming on?
So it was awkwardly redubbed to say,
How is that prize melon of yours coming on?
even though it's not a melon. There were reports of wanting to recast Peter Sallis, the original voice of Wallace, with someone more
Prized marrow?
famous. That's unthinkable. Don't even think it.
Oh, thanks, Chuck.
It's unclear if this came from Katzenberg.
Like
It may have been
bone
just
marrow?
a general direction from DreamWorks that was ultimately, thankfully, ignored. Aardman co-founder Peter Lord, on the subject of how to talk to LA executives, said, "We listen and nod and then go do our own thing." It seems the decision to cast
Oh.
Hollywood stars like Helena Bonham Carter and Ralph Fiennes as principal cast members was a kind of compromise in order to keep Sallis. But even then, Katzenberg wanted younger, trendier actors instead, because that's what Shrek did. Why doesn't Wallace ever learn his lesson? Why doesn't Wallace drive a nicer car? Because it's British. We like things being a bit shit. Stop motion animation itself is obviously not as smooth and clean as CG movies with fingerprints and indentations. The imperfections have that clear, tangible human touch. That's its charm, and I wouldn't change a thing
Sounds
about
like an
it.
excuse for bad production practices.
And this revealed just how divided the two studios were culturally. Hollywood is a long way away from Bristol. In fairness, Katzenberg may have been a bit spooked by a string of box office failures: El Dorado, Spirit, and Sinbad. And the company
Spirit.
was close to bankruptcy.
Sinbad, oh.
He was competing against Disney. He couldn't fail so publicly, not so soon. I don't think Katzenberg was trying to completely...
Like, people
remold
remember
Wallace
El
and Gromit,
Dorado
just
because memes,
reshape
but...
them into a box office smash hit. It didn't work. Once again, critically acclaimed and award-winning, including the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, even beating Howl's Moving Castle. And despite earning $190 million on a budget of $30 million, DreamWorks suffered yet another loss. Following Sinbad, DreamWorks Animation moved away from traditional animation in favor of computer animation, which proved to
Well,
be
that's
a
a
successful
really
formula for Shark Tale and
unappealing,
Madagascar, continuing the Shrek tradition of popular
animation
actors,
style.
popular music, and pop culture references, as with the massively successful Shrek 2. Well, if DreamWorks wanted an Aardman version of Shrek, they got it, with Flushed Away.
Oh yes,
Whoa!
Flushed Away.
Flushed Away is so off-brand for an Aardman movie, I struggle to even remember this was an Aardman movie. There's nothing wrong with the CG element of the film. Aardman had been
Oh, yes,
using it for a
the
long
hot
time, such as
mouse.
the floating
I forgot
CG
about the
bunnies in
hot
Curse the
mouse.
Were-Rabbit, or the entire ending of the film where they had to edit out Wallace's bunny ears after rewrites. And there were efforts made in the CG to replicate the imperfections, like fingerprints. The characters were designed to stay true to Aardman, such as a lack of fur. The official reason given for making Flushed Away entirely CG was because the water scenes would obviously be exhausting to make with plasticine, and to superpose it on top of the stop motion would have been too difficult. But I do wonder if the constant pressure from DreamWorks may have helped inform that decision. After all, Aardman accomplished CG water 6 years later in Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists. Flushed Away has good
I'd
parts,
never heard of
such
that in my
as
life.
Ian McKellen's performance.
Huzzah! A man of quality.
But gone was that charm, the very thing that made Aardman Aardman. This was loud and brash, with screaming slugs and pop culture references crowbarred in.
Have you seen my dad?
This looked like Aardman, but it didn't feel like Aardman. It pandered to an audience who didn't turn up, as it underperformed yet again at the box office, and DreamWorks pulled the plug on their 5-movie deal. At the time, Aardman were developing a caveman-themed idea in collaboration with John Cleese, but when the deal with Aardman ended, DreamWorks kept the film rights to the caveman idea.
I like that
one. It became The Croods? Wait, The Croods was an Aardman movie? Huh. Okay. It would be a very Hollywood trope to say that Katzenberg was the villain and Aardman could now finally prosper, but by all accounts, the split was amicable. The two sides agreed that their production styles differed too much to
a mere
$160
million.
Felt a tide of
What a
relief
joke.
to no longer be forced to cater his films for an American audience. Part of the reason they signed the deal with DreamWorks in the first place was to maintain creative control.
For some
but
reason, my mother really
Katzenberg
liked
started to
the
apply
Groods
more and more
or whatever.
pressure, which counterintuitively was met with diminishing returns. It may have not been a dream pairing, but unfortunately for Aardman, they've never been able to recapture the success they once had with DreamWorks. Arthur Christmas and Pirates performed modestly, but their own caveman movie, Early Man, was a box office bomb. It seems like even with the celebrity cast and the efforts to cater to a British audience with football, they couldn't recreate the charm they once had with Chicken Run. So their next movie is a sequel to Chicken Run. They recast Mel Gibson, but also Julia Swalala. But also Julia Swalala? Fucking not Walala! Sawala. Fuck it, you know what, I'm gonna move on. They recast Mel Gibson, but also Julia Swalala? Like, come on, guys. But an unlikely success story was found in Shaun the Sheep. It started out as TV shorts before being adapted as a movie and uniquely has no dialogue. So not being able to rely on the pull power of celebrities, the film uses mild grunts and vocalizations along with the tricks of silent movies like visual gags to tell a story without dialogue. And it's wonderfully charming, which led to a sequel, TV specials, and despite being a spin-off from Wallace and Gromit, it has its own spin-off with Timmy Time, a spin-off of a spin-off.
Right.
Aardman continued to be an independent studio, producing films long and short of incredible quality. Maybe they haven't recaptured the glory days like they once had with DreamWorks, but as long as they don't
I was
lose
never
their charm, they'll
too big of
continue
a fan
to
of
mold
all
and
of
shape
this
childhoods
myself.
like modeling clay. But what about Katzenberg? This
It
story
is charming,
started
but
with
it's
him,
never
so
been
how does
my
it end?
go-to.
When forming DreamWorks, the plan was to create a multifaceted entertainment empire.
That will continue to make movies well beyond me someday.
It did not.
Not
the
no.
live-action studio was sold to Viacom in 2005, and until 2016,
Small
released
Soldiers?
films through Disney. Awkward. But he stayed in charge of DreamWorks Animation until 2016, when it was sold to Universal, which continues to succeed without him thanks to a franchise with a lot of Boss Baby vibes. It's called Boss Baby.
I've never
So
seen
whilst
Boss
Katzenberg
Baby,
didn't
and I
succeed in
think I would not
outdoing
care
Disney in
to.
their own game, he still kind of led the charge on a whole new wave
Wait,
of
no.
outdoing Disney at their own game. So
That
whilst Katzenberg
horse
didn't
is drinking water,
succeed
isn't
in
it?
Disney at their own game, he still kind of led the charge on a whole new
Because
wave of
Jesus
animated
Christ.
movies. Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, and Megamind, and in doing so, he gave
Megamind
Disney
was great.
something they never had before: competition. And he did that with a little help from a small British studio who likes cheese. Just don't mention Quibi.
The bounce has gone from
Quibi?
King Punji.
I'm trying out this text-to-speech software to give
Okay.
the special show.
What's the next one? Ah, you know, the tornado video. These are okay. I wouldn't want to sit here and watch tornado videos all day, but still. Every so often it's neat to just watch a big old spinning cloud just roll through and kick up some dust.
It's coming right for us. Here we are again, the path of the tornado. It's the hail situation. Yep, it's coming.
Nah, the art style of Sinbad and Spirit looks very similar. Like, it has that very blocky look to it. It's really not appealing to look at. I think that's part of the reason why I didn't do too well. That, and it's a story about Sinbad and a story about a horse. So, who cares? Like, sure, things can be good even though they have simple ideas, but it requires more effort in the marketing. There are some films that are fine, but they just, you know, were not popular. It happens sometimes.
storm.
Treasure Planet. I saw Treasure Planet. It's fine. It kind of reminds me of
Oh, I'm shaking.
what's the name of the movie with the? It was the 1990s
Caught in the hail.
Fern Gully.
In the path of this tornado.
Reminds me of Fern Gully, where it is fine, it's serviceable, but nothing about it is that memorable. But yeah, both of those movies, like Treasure Planet and Fern Gully, they're fine, but they're not really... They're not amazing or anything. I hear that a lot about Prince of Egypt, too. I don't know if I ever saw Prince of Egypt. Although some people... I've actually seen people describe it as the best movie they ever saw, which is weird to me.
Oh, here comes the hail. You know what? I kind of want to get by it. Right?
Maybe I'll watch it sometime.
Yeah, we gotta go this way. Let's do that. Otherwise the hail's gonna destroy us in the path of this thing. Here's the RFD. We're gonna hit right here. It's gonna be strong. Do we want to do that? No, we don't want to do that.
Something people forget about weather in general is how heavy clouds are. Like, if you actually wanted to move a single cloud... Yeah, sure, it's a cloud, it's gas, but... If you were to pack it all together, it's incredibly heavy. Like, it's tons and tons of water. So watching it swirl around on its own is pretty intense, if you think about it that way. Was I ever in a tornado? Yes. When I was a baby, a tornado hit our house. My grandmother's house got hit by a tornado. We had to do cleanup on that, and I was on the news. And whenever I went on the news, that day I did not have any clean shirts, so I actually was not wearing one whenever they filmed me. I was just wearing a a zip-up jacket. Shh, don't tell. And then, of course, very recently we've had a couple of tornadoes rip through this area as well. Scarnahue, welcome, buddy. Yeah, I try to provide a positive, safe environment for people to just kick back and enjoy stuff with. Jeez. That said, let's watch this man get absorbed by a tornado and flung into the sky.
Had to be done.
Something about it's really fascinating watching a tornado turn in the distance. Ooh, another one. There's something almost peaceful about watching it in the distance. Definitely not if you're near it. Actually, being around a tornado is not fun.
Look, all I want is an honest
Breaking up with
conversation
Adobe.
about the pros and the cons of our relationship. Pros: Photoshop, pretty good. Cons: Premiere, it's shit. Media Encoder, shit. Dynamic Link, slow and shit. And it breaks all the time. And by the way, I can accept that your software is sometimes a little bit slow to open, so I minimize it. But while it's loading, it just keeps popping up. God damn, can't you just be fucking normal? You promised that you would sort yourself out, change for the better, that you'd get multiple.
They promised no such thing.
Fuck me, you said that like 10 years ago. But the worst thing is not the shitty new icons, or the jacking up the price, or the slow choppy play.
Wait.
shitty new icons or the jacking.
Oh, okay. I thought that was another number. I was like, holy shit, like hundreds of dollars a month? That's still outrageous, though. Jeez. You know, they've actually gone up, too, since this. You can tell that they have completely given up on the idea that people will stop pirating them. And they have just, like, a long time ago, they just sold you the product. And that was it. And then whenever a new one came out, you just buy that one, if it was a sufficient upgrade. And ever since they have gone to this model, they've completely given up on the idea that people will stop pirating it, and instead they've gone towards a model of they know that real businesses have to have a legitimate copy. Like, they absolutely have to have one. And they target those people instead. So if you ever wondered why do they have to pay out the nose per month, it's because they're targeting people that are not private users. Because they know that you will steal the product.
Up the price, or the slow choppy playback, or the line going sophisticated, or the slew of new bugs every single major update. It's that you just don't listen. Fuck. And I really don't want to be the one to say this, but since we're speaking honestly, here it is. I'm downloading GIMP. Oh, there you go, wrecking my stuff, just like you wrecked Flash. Oh. Oh, fuck.
Oh, in the balls.
Baby. Darling, don't go. I loved you since first I saw you on LimeWire. We both know I'm nothing
LimeWire.
without you.
Oh no, this is toxic.
This is a very unhealthy relationship.
This is true. He has to pay out the nose for it, too. I think any relationship where you have to pay that much money, you need to go back to using your hand. Wait, what's this? What's this? A diorama of puddle phobia. Yes, a diorama. Yes! Get you a streamer that's as excited about dioramas as you are about seeing your firstborn child. Here he is. His name is Ben. Yes! Here it is, a YouTube video of some guy making a tiny little man. Yes! Yes, first burn child. Burn child. Not burnt child, just a burn child. Yeah, dioramas are forever. A diorama won't hear you say don't stick your finger in that socket, and then wait for you to turn around and immediately race to the socket. Nice. And now, alright, Executioner. Have a good night. Hope you enjoy making more of your stuff. See, I'm not good enough with my hands to do this kind of stuff. I get too impatient. What kind of windows are these called? Whenever you have 3 of them like this, and there's a little bitty sill for you to sit on, or to put plants on. I can't remember. Bay window? Yeah, bay windows, yes. I like bay windows. I have a bad memory, so I don't remember things like that. I'll probably ask the same question in like 2 weeks. Aw. Well, it's not that I didn't like that they 3D printed the monster, it was more that it was sort of against the spirit of it, I guess. The end result is fine. It's perfectly understandable why they would. I don't really see a way that they could have done it by hand. But this definitely is appreciated. Actually, subscribe. Wait, this is the Thalasso Hobbier. Yeah, I've said that about being forgetful before. That it's actually sort of a superpower, because you can watch something and completely forget that you watched it, and watch it again and experience it for the first time. And even things that you sort of remember, it's still a vague enough memory that you get a lot of benefit from rewatching it. This is satisfying. Like, this guy's fucking nailing it. Like, every step of the way that he's creating this stuff is, like, impeccable. What time is it here? Kinda late. Not too late, though. I'm in Central. I think the minor imperfections, like whenever you're painting something, not that I'm an expert in painting, but being able to replicate the imperfections is the thing that makes things look more real. I remember watching, I don't remember what documentary it was. Actually, I think it may have been Half-Life. Ooh, penis monster. It may have been the Half-Life documentary, where they were describing how they had always had trouble replicating what people look like. And it wasn't until Half-Life 2 where they started intentionally doing things like adding moles and little freckles and things like that, that they felt like skin actually started to look like skin. Again, I can't remember if it was exactly Half-Life 2, but it seems like something that would have been the case. This little dude kind of has an overbite, doesn't he? He's gonna have to get corrective braces. That's pretty fucking rad. I don't know why he kept turning it like that. Like it was being surprised. Ooh, nice. I'd like to see a more prolonged process of him doing this. I always felt like people that are working in a physical medium always had kind of an advantage with paints. Because whenever you're working digital, you're limited by how static and perfect the brush is. There's never any variability, and whenever you replicate the variability, it never really works out very well. unless you use a very, very low level opacity. And even then, you're having to worry about that constantly. You have to work over the same image over and over and over again. Okay, you gonna do the leaves? No, okay. Oh, yes! Nice. That's an interesting way of doing that. Oh, making a little cave, huh? Is the worm gonna be like, welcome to my home? That's exactly what it's going to be. Next step, we add the cum. Then we paint over the cum. Shh. No one will ever know it's there. Just us. One day they open up the street. They have to like do some work underneath the concrete. They lift it up. Where'd all this cum come from? Hey Daniel, come over here. What's that, Ted? Did you notice that this street is absolutely brimming with cum? Yeah, that's mighty unusual, I'd say. Maybe the sergeant should take a look at this. Maybe not. We shouldn't tell him. You know how he gets about cum. No need to tell me twice. I'm not sure what kind of relationship these two guys I just invented have, but it seems like it's predicated and built upon some very alarming elements that I care not to go into. I want him to just... There's one line of dialogue in this whole video, and you could hear him just go, fuck! Just once. Then the rest of the video is completely serene. Oh. I want to be popular. Still have a long way to go. Aw. You don't need to be popular, buddy. You just need to enjoy yourself. Although I'm pretty sure that you're already popular. Yeah, this guy has 1.16 million subscribers. It's way more than I have. But then again, I don't make content. That's almost a joke, but it's unfortunately sort of true. I want to make videos, it's just so hard. It is, though. I made an animation and no one cared. I mean, I can keep making art gripes, but I always feel like people get irate with me for making nothing but that. Plus, lately I've been trying to do the whole recovery thing anyways. Yeah, I'm thinking more about my big, elaborate, well-edited, incredibly meticulously written videos that I like to do. Oh, that old animated video? I forget what it's called, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Of the kid sneaking in the pool. and it turns out one of them is like a monster. Yeah, I think the villains one is good. I think probably my best overall video I ever made was the Metal Gear one. Now, show the monster. I don't think my horror one is up anymore. At least not without it being on an external website. Good editing. He is baby. Although he has that one line here in the resin. Yeah, doing the Twitch thing has been... It's definitely made my life way more stable, certainly. It also helps me feel like I'm doing something every day. Because whenever you have to do YouTube content, there's just so much time where you're not connected with anyone. People don't know that you're actually doing something. Whereas it really feels like anytime I'm doing what I'm doing... Stop it. Quiet. It seems like anytime that I'm doing what I'm doing now, it really feels like I'm working every day. I mean, I was working every day in the past, it's just that it doesn't feel that way because you spend so much time making something that maybe people will never see. And that's the thing that just drives you crazy whenever you make these long-form things on YouTube. Anyways, yes, this has been good. Being able to slow down, focus on Twitch, but then also do scripted videos in the background has been very helpful. I just need to actually, you know, get a couple of those out the door.
By Prime Matter and their newly released Outward the Defiant.
No.
A weapon from the game, but also the most requested historical item over the last few years that you guys have asked us to make, which is the halberd.
It is quite nice that the halberd in the game is called the Iron Halberd, since iron was the primary material for making pole weapons all throughout the...
I don't care about your plug-in video game.
The material
Show
that we're going
halberd.
to be using is a wrought iron hinge made in the late 1800s. Now, high-quality material is quite precious.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to stop me from
So,
streaming is the
hinges
internet
would not
screwing
have
up.
been made from the best of the best material, so we're going to have to refine it before we get to forging our
Why
weapon.
not RX? See you later, buddy. I've always felt like I need to try too hard with making content too. That's still true, honestly. Like anytime I feel like anytime I want to make a scripted video, I feel like it needs to be like really, really
What
good
I'm doing is I'm cutting up the
something
hinge
that
and stacking
is
it to
comprehensive
make
and
sure
covers every
it's
element
more
of something.
refined and some of the slag and inclusions flows out or comes out in terms of bubbles that I cut open. and
You
weld
don't have to
together.
make a V2 model for yourself. It's much easier to draw one yourself and then get someone else to rig it. Because the art process is by far the most expensive element of it. Although it's also probably the most difficult. Because you have to not only do it correctly, and layering it correctly, and exporting it correctly so that the rigger can do something with it, but you also have to make it appealing in the first place. Like with mine, getting the ears to move correctly is something that was pretty difficult, and even then it's not perfect. But it still looks okay. One day I'll get a 3D model. One day. Yeah, and as I said before, the more experienced you get making something, it doesn't matter what it is, the more demanding you become of yourself to the point where your production level slows down and you kind of stop making things because you become so preoccupied with it
Here that,
that it just drives you crazy.
And show you is the actual
Head in the bed, hot
medieval
pot.
style of weapons
Thank you for showing up,
production
buddy.
that you would
Good
actually
night.
see. And it would look like one street focuses on making the iron and iron bars. The next street over in the town is only making preforms and rough stump out blades. The next street over assembles all those pieces. So the entire European weapons production industry looked very modern conceptually. Up until the beginning of the 20th century in England,
it makes
where
that
in Sheffield
molten,
you would have
that
one
molten
street
iron
that's
look
making
delicious.
iron, and the entire other street is making silly knife preforms, and the third street was the street of cutlers who would actually assemble the knife.
Yeah. Well,
And because here at that work,
that's the
we don't
thing
have
with making like the
craftsmen,
ears. The reason why they're limited is because of the fact that they're just ears. I could have done this differently if I had. You know how there are VTuber girls that have long hair and they still have like the animal ears on top? You can do that because the hair actually covers the meeting point where the ear meets the head. And whenever you do that, there's way more control over what you can
At a
do with the
certain point in
layers.
folding, I cut the billet in half again,
Ooh,
but
that's cool
turn
looking.
one of the pieces 90 degrees, creating some.
But since I don't have any hair on this model like that,
direction,
I can't do
and
that.
Fold a couple more times. That way, every single grain
It's one of those
direction is
design
supported
solution
by an
things you have to think about
orthogonal
before you actually make it.
position Next layer.
I'm actually very bald right now. I shaved my head a few days ago. I buzz cut my head. I never, use a razor to bald myself to the max. I love that bit in the SpongeBob movie. My eyes! The king's like, alright. Bald! Bald! Bald!
In order to prepare all the parts to be forge welded, the preform.
I love that the My Eyes guy doesn't close his eyes.
A taper forge weld connection prevents shearing points.
Like his eyes are on fire, melting out of his head, and he just continues to stare.
With the blade preform now complete, it's time to begin forging our socket.
And not void? Got work in the morning? Ugh, I know, right? I don't miss those days. Well, I still have those days, they're just self-created. See you later, Void. Night night. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be too scared of losing your hair.
Halberds or any medieval sort of weapon.
Unless you have like one
What's
of those
most
weirdly
important
shaped
is not
heads.
looking at the
Or there's
nice
like a big
piece,
knob on the top of your
but
head.
looking at the somewhat shoddy munitions grade, because both are assembled and produced in the same.
If you do,
streets
I'm
in
sorry.
the same
I'm sorry
cities,
for all of us.
using the same hands and the same craftsmen. However, the shoddy ones show you all the assembly points and all the mistakes.
I
and
really
weld
consider the
flaws
idea
are
of becoming a
indicators
guy
of
like
how
this.
those pieces were put together.
I would be terrible at it.
So, the majority of halberds, in our case Italian 16th century halberd, have square sockets. That means at some point during assembly, a square mandrel was used to keep that socket square. In the socket, the weld connections, if
Yeah,
you
the
look
thing about being self-employed
underneath
is that you are
this
your own
way,
boss, so you can actually
have a
ruin your own
tapered
life.
Sort of incompletion. That indicates that that socket was welded from two halves to the
Not
blade.
necessarily a blacksmith,
It is
but
unclear
working in
whether
that field.
The axe, the back spike, and the front spike were a complete preform or separate pieces. I'm going to make the back spike, the axe blade, and the front spike from separate pieces. The reason why I'm doing that
Separate
is
pieces.
if you have a preform that contains those and
Getting a
forge
new
weld
job?
to a socket,
Cool.
it is quite clunky.
Hope you
to move
enjoy it.
around, but it's much easier.
It's really important to be able to
heat
enjoy the
up
thing
and
that you're going to be
forge
doing
weld
most of the day.
the three pieces onto the socket separately.
You should always enjoy the thing that you do every day. That's why you need to pick a good sexual partner. Haha.
The majority of the
I didn't-
halberds now
I didn't go very far
What
for that one.
remains to be attached is the front
There was a-
spike as well as the
A
lungette.
middle hanging fruit. I like the look of those little bitty flakes coming off Like, see those little bitty, like,
In
squared
order
off
to make the
flakes that are coming
langettes,
off?
I'm
Something
using
about
the
that's really
remainder
satisfying.
Of the wrought iron, but this time I'm not refining it as much because they will not receive as much stress as would the axe blade or the socket.
Yeah, nothing will make you feel quite like you don't know what you're
In order
doing
to
at all,
attach the
besides
top
being
spike
self-employed or
material to the
having
body of the
especially
halberd,
employees.
I'm employing the weld that uses a fish mouth effect. So I split my spike material like this and insert the body of the halberd onto it. After that we go back to the coal forge to forge weld it on.
Shaping metal seems like the kind of thing that I would eventually get to the point where, like, just, this is good enough, fuck it. I wouldn't take enough pride in my work because I would value being done. And I would probably end up trying to reshape it to the point where it actually gets screwed up looking.
Most Italian halberds for the period have somewhat of scroll motif coming off the back of the axe blade. Those little scrolls will almost certainly not added on as separate pieces, but forged in. So in order to reproduce that, I slice into the axe blade, heat up the area, and pull them back.
Yeah, back then they couldn't just saw off things or use a belt sander.
To be honest, this
They just
project
had to do
had
it
a
the
lot
hard
of
way.
sketchy grinding. There's a point pointing back at you in just about every direction.
Yeah, we still
But
haven't
my
gotten
job
a
is pretty
glass
simple.
blowing video in the
Scuff
channel yet.
surface and prepare it to have higher detail added to it afterwards.
Why does no one submit a
This
glass
might be an
blowing
obvious
video?
point, but a halberd does not work as a halberd without a wood hat. So I take a piece of 7-foot ash and start preparing it.
How
to
reliable
receive
is a
both
halberd?
The butt spike and
Well, it's basically
halberd
just a
handle.
glorified spear in a way. And the spear is by far the most used weapon in the history of all humanity. So, pretty reliable. Unless you mean in terms of its quality in the make, which would depend on who made it and when.
The majority of the
and where.
halberds that I examine have some sort of a system of perforation motif on it. Some would be elaborate and decorative, other ones
Ooh.
have just a series of holes and
I
seemingly
bet that one would
random
work better,
spots.
though.
I'm uncertain what the holes are meant to do from the standpoint
There's
of
speed
actual
holes
use.
that make
So
you swing
I'm going
faster.
To replicate a system of holes that is present in the Italian halberd that you can see in the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Seemingly random holes. We will replicate
The
the
next
random
stage is to
holes.
heat treat the halberd. Now, the only reason why you would heat treat an axe blade, a knife blade, a dagger blade is to introduce edge retention. The only place you need edge retention is
It looks pretty
where
damn
there's
good.
an edge. So there's no sense in heat treating the socket, there's no sense in heat treating the flat of the axe blade, so on and so forth. And much like traditional axes, which up until the mid 20th century would only have the edge part hardened and the rest would remain soft, I'm heating up only the relevant points, the spike, the back blade, the axe blade, and quenching them in water.
There's one I have to pause just in case he starts talking again. There's one thing that I can think of that the holes might have been for. I don't know, to be clear. But whenever you know how, you guys know that I like a Lucerne or a Warhammer, right? And on one end of a Warhammer is a spike, and on the other end is a hammer. But the hammer is never flat. Have you ever noticed that? It's not a flat surface. Any sort of hammer is like that too, where it has sort of an indented surface in a way. This because whenever you hit something, if it's completely flat and you're hitting someone that's like a meaty creature and has a curved armor, it actually creates more. It creates more of an impact. It carries forth more kinetic energy if you hit it at an angle, as opposed to trying to hit it with a flat surface. Yeah, like a meat tenderizer. Yes, Gray. And the same might be true of hitting, because you notice those holes were drilled sort of in the center of the halberd. So it could have been that the reason why those holes are there is so that whenever you're hitting someone with the flat of the blade, then it actually increases the kinetic force because you're not having to worry about too much of the energy being dispersed over a completely even surface, especially if you're basically like hurling wind, like hitting wind resistance, I guess. Although those holes really don't look like they would carry that much of an impact, but it's possible. That's my best guess. I have no idea. It could have just been for aesthetics. It could also have been to keep the metal more secure. Because if you hit a piece of metal that does not have any sort of holes like that, then it might...
Just because the object in front of you is
create
iron
more disparity
it is
in the weapon's
absent of carbon.
Molecular
For example,
structure
the piece of wrought
or
iron
something?
that we grabbed, surprisingly enough, had segments of it that
Maybe.
had about 1%
I'm guessing
carbon.
now.
Perfectly
I am
good
very
high
much so
carbon steel
guessing.
in it, and the other parts were basically zero carbon. You can see it actually when Matt grinds it from the type of spark it produces. So, for example, the blade portion, as well as the socket portion and everything else, are technically heat
You probably wouldn't
treatable,
be
they
hitting
just
someone at
don't
the side of a
heat deep
blade
or very
anyways.
far.
Unless it was
If you
incidental
enjoyed
contact.
these historical builds and don't want to miss out on any more, be sure to subscribe to this channel. That works. And perhaps consider liking this video.
When you, the viewer, ask us to do a historical build,
Why did he do that
it is very
read
important to
in the
me and to
3/4 of the
Matt
video?
that we actually do some research and not only produce the shape that looks historical from modern materials, but actually try to replicate the materials themselves.
Yeah, you know how...
that would have been plausibly used.
You know
around
how
the
whenever you
time
make a
that
tank,
weapon was popular.
you don't
And,
want there to
at
be
the
a
same
solid
time,
piece of metal
create a
as the
plausible
shell.
interpretation from looking at
You
many
want there to
images of
instead
the
be
object
a
of
series
how
of
they were
overlapping
actually
layers.
The
Like,
reason
you want to
why
actually
we're doing
composite the metal and layer
for
it.
example, if you study HEMA, you use modern items that are
It
MIG
could follow
welded,
a
TIG
similar
welded
principle
together, made
that
from
the
modern
thicker
space-age
a sheet of
steels.
metal
So you
is,
have one sense of the boundary
the
conditions
weaker it can become in
under
a
which
sense.
that object
Because you're
operates.
actually losing...
However, when you make the same
You're losing
object from traditional
integrity
materials using
compared to the
traditional methods,
volume of the
your
thing you're
boundary
creating.
Conditions for optimal operation are
It would be
much
interesting to
narrower,
learn.
and therefore a narrower boundary condition for using the object produces a more accurate interpretation of the manuals that you are trying to study.
This has been a great build, and with just a few more details to add, we're
I actually
almost
think
done.
that they added
Be
too
sure
many
to
of those
check
random
out
holes.
Our sponsor for this video. It's a great game, and sponsors like that allow us to create these great
Sponsors
weapons.
that I don't care about. That looks satisfying. Yeah, there's been a bunch of videos people have submitted that are good videos. They're just too long, which is a shame. There's a lot of things that are like 30 or 40 minutes long. Or even that Bionicle video, it was only like 26 minutes long, but it's about Bionicle. So I'm not going to sit there the whole time watching something that I know nothing about. Hello, Iron Noki. Yeah, I make pornography. No, I do YouTube videos, yeah. And art, I forget that I draw things sometimes. I think I'll do that this week sometime. Just make myself a nice little artsy video of a lady with a big can. A lady with some nice Charlies. Now, kill your friend with it. What? The weapon has not yet tasted blood. That dude has probably hurt himself doing this before. I draw? Of course. I draw disgusting furry women. And other things, but no one cares about the other things. me saying Charlie's is a joke. It is a joke that technically is from New Vegas, Fallout New Vegas, but it's also from one of EDBot's streams from New Vegas. Because she saw him refer to a female body part as Charlie's, and no one was really sure what he meant.
If you enjoy these historical builds, be sure to
So it's
check
been a
out
joke
the
since
channel.
then,
That
referring
works
to
too.
things as
For more
Charlie's.
behind-the-scenes content,
I think
videos
Edie believes
just
that
like
Charlie's
this,
is a euphemism for boobs. So people sometimes like to joke about her nice Charlies. She does have nice Charlies. Shield Bash. Are they competing for a shield? He clearly cheated. Is she going to kill him? Is Zelda going to murder Link for a shield? A basic wooden shield that you could probably find from a goblin? I will use the Master Sword and kill my wife. For the shield that is worth 5 gold. Like, this is a cute animation and all, but the story is very confusing to me, especially considering the characters involved. Actually, shields in real life would break all the time. Not to the point where they shattered as though they were made of rock. Okay, that was weird in context of the actual characters.
This cube cured my mortality. All the people here who bought this wireless
A couple of tungsten cube reviews. I don't know what this is about.
tungsten cube to admire its surreal heft have precisely the wrong mindset. I, in my exalted wisdom and unbridled ambition, bought this cube to become fully accustomed to the intensity of its density, to make its weight bearable, and in fact normal to me, so that all the world around me may fade into a fluffy arena of gravitational inconsequence. And it has worked, to profound success. I have carried the tungsten with me, have grown attached to the downward pull of its small form, its desire to be one with the floor. This force has become so normal to me that lifting
What's too
any
much
other
time? It depends on the
object now
context, but
feels like
usually
lifting cotton
usually
candy
more than 20 minutes
or
is a bit too
fluffy
long.
Pillow. Big, burly, manly men who pump iron now seem to me as little children who raise
I have watched
mere
ones that are
aluminium.
longer, but they have to be really
I can hardly
engaging.
remember the days before I became a man of tungsten. How distant those days seem now. How burdened by the apparent
Now I
heaviness of
want
everyday
tungsten
objects.
dice.
I
God
laugh
damn
at
it.
the Philistines who still operate in a world devoid of tungsten, their shoulders thin and unempowered by the experience of bearing tungsten. Ha! What fools! Blissful in their ignorance, anesthetized by their lack of meaningful struggle, devoid of passion. Nietzsche once said that a man who has a why can bear almost any how, but a man who has a tungsten cube can bear any object less dense, and all this talk of why and how becomes unnecessary. Schopenhauer once
Tungsten
said
is
that
worth
every
it.
man takes the limits of his own
Like a
field
great
of
lover.
vision for the limits of the world. Tungsten expands the limits of a man's field of vision by showing him an example of increased density, in comparison to which the
Density.
everyday objects to which he was formerly accustomed gain a light and airy quality. Who can lament the tragedy of life when surrounded by such lightweight objects? Who can cry in a world of styrofoam and cushions? Have you yet understood? This is no ordinary metal.
I've always liked the
This
idea
metal
of
is the alchemical potential
you can
to
inherit something if you
transform
can
your
lift it,
world by
like Thor's
transforming
hammer.
your expectations. Those who have not
Or
yet
if
held
it
the cube
judges
in
you
their
to be
hands and
worthy.
mouths will not understand, for they still live in a world of normal density, like
Density.
Plato's cave dwellers. Those who have opened their minds to the density of tungsten will shift their expectations
He really likes
of
saying the
weight
word
and
density.
accordingly. To give this cube a rating of anything less than 5 stars would be to condemn life itself. Who am I, as a mere mortal, to judge the most compact of all affordable materials? No. I say gratefully to whichever grand being may have created this universe. Good job on the tungsten. It sure is dense. I sit here with my tungsten cube, transcendent above death itself. For insofar as this tungsten cube will last forever, I am in the presence of immortality. Heavy boy! Almost impossible to pick up with one hand.
I like
Very
this
well
completely
packaged
different
in a
one.
wooden crate and lots of foam. I'm gonna smash stuff with it.
Okay, that's where the second one came in. The Rise and Fall of Tomba. How
Tombi
long
was a
is this?
revolutionary
14
platform
minutes.
video
That's
game series
fine.
releasing between 1997 and 2000 on the original Sony PlayStation. After
I
the
have
release of
given
the second
exactly
game, however,
3 minutes
the
of my
developer,
life to
known
thinking
as
about
Whoopee
Tomba.
Camp, disbanded shortly after its launch. So what the hell happened? This is what I'm going to investigate and find answers throughout the video. This is the Rise and Fall of Tombi.
What's it? Oh, excuse me, not Tomba. Tombi.
I'd like to clarify that in Europe, these games are listed under the name Tombi. However, in North America and Japan, the series is named Tomba.
That's why.
Being that I reside in Europe, I will refer to the game series as Tombi instead. So, where did it all begin? Allow me to introduce Tokuro Fujiwara, the director, producer, and creator of Tombi. Fujiwara's
was it
career
in
began
Japan,
in
though?
1982 when he joined Konami as a game director and developer. While at Konami,
Are you actually heading
Fujiwara
out,
worked on
Mr.
titles
Rock?
such as Puyan, an
Mr.
arcade
Doc
shooter
Ock
in
Rock.
1982, and Rock and Rope, an
If so,
arcade
have a good night.
platformer in 1983. Later in 1983, Fujiwara decides to leave Konami in favor of Capcom, where he was able to truly make a name for himself in the gaming industry. Fujiwara directed many early Capcom titles, most notably the run-and-gun shooter Commando in 1985, the platformers Ghosts and Goblins in 1985,
That was a
Bionic
while ago.
Commando in 1987,
Holy
and the
shit.
survival horror game Sweet Home in 1989.
Never heard of that one.
He was also the main producer for the Mega Man series, a working associate with the game Strider in 1989, a general producer for the original Resident Evil in 1996,
He's
and
gotta
he
be
also
everywhere.
worked as a general manager of the Capcom console games division from 1988 to 1996. However, in 1996, after 13 years of working Capcom, he quits the company to start his own gaming company, Whoopee Camp. And this is where the creation of Tombi begins.
Whoopee Camp?
While successful at Capcom, Fujiwara was not given the freedom to create games that he truly desired. He felt that Whoopee Camp would finally give him the room to realize his dreams in gaming.
I want to say something real fast. Anytime that you hear a story about someone famous that made all your favorite stuff, departing because they want to make games that they love, those stories either go two ways. Either they go on to be a legend that makes the things that you liked but even better, with no studio interference or publisher interference, whatever, or they go on to make the biggest trash piles that you have ever seen that no one gives a shit about.
With many years of
Just wanted to mention
experience
that.
under his belt and a reputation of being an excellent director, producer, and developer, many were confused by this change. However, a quote from the Japanese PlayStation magazine in 1997 encapsulates his motives clearly. Fujiwara states, "Basically, I guess I just needed to make an action-style game."
You could have done that anywhere.
It was evident Fujiwara was looking to take the best aspects of past projects and implement those into a new and exciting two-dimensional side-scroller, Tombi. Fujiwara decided to set Tombi apart from other timing-based action games by placing an emphasis on high skill, nuanced,
This video is called The
decision-based
Rise and
gameplay.
Fall of Tombi.
Through this, he was
Did
able
Tombi
to
ever
cultivate a
rise?
highly flexible and free environment unique to Tombi.
I'm not sure that it did.
This foundation, coupled with non-linear events and the gradual growth of in-game abilities and resources, there were not too many games that could compete with what Tombi had to offer. Tombi's soundtrack was composed by Harumi Fujita with some help from Nao Hatsutani. The team also had 4 programmers, 10 designers, and
I think
3
there was 2
planners
of them.
working
I think
on
it
the
had a
game,
sequel, didn't it?
as well as staff in administration and marketing divisions with total of 25
Yeah, I guess if you
employees.
grow up, you technically
After a
do
year
rise.
of development, Tombi was released on December 25th, 1997 in Japan, July 16th, 1998 in North America, and finally on August 28th, 1998, it was released on Europe. Tombi was met with resounding positivity. The non-linear and variations of the event system was praised, although some did feel they took away from the main story of the game at times. Nonetheless, Tombi received even more praise for the controls, vibrant visuals, and crisp character animations in both 2D characters and the 3D polygonal environments. While Tombi was praised for many things, the audio left a lot to be desired. While some people enjoyed it, many reported the audio was primitive or minimalist in comparison to the vibrant game world and action-oriented gameplay. Post-release, it was obvious Tombi stood out from the pack. Fujiwara knew this, and he even stated as follows in the Japanese PlayStation Magazine 1997 interview. "It's got the pure fun of an action game, combined with the way the stages change after certain story beats or events. As your goals or your objectives change, you accordingly think, I should do this or I should do that. So instead of the kind of timing-based action games that we've seen so far, it's like there's a high degree of flexibility and freedom, which includes thinking and decision-making. And that's what I think makes it different."
That was vague enough
While
that I'm not
successful
quite sure
in
what
its
he's talking
own
about,
right,
but I
Tombi
think
did
I understand.
not reach mainstream status. This is most evident through the sales figures for the game. 150,000 copies sold in North America, 100,000 copies sold in Europe, and 20,000 copies sold in various other regions. This brings us to a total of 260,000 copies sold worldwide, not including the estimated 60 to 80,000 copies sold.
Okay, so
in its
explain to me
homeland
again
of
how
Japan,
this game
as
rose.
these figures are not verifiable, as Tombi was self-published by Whoopee Camp in Japan. The overall low game sales were a letdown for Fujiwara, but he still felt that Tombi sold well enough to justify a sequel. So
How?
the Whoopee Camp team started working on the sequel, Tombi 2. After the full release of Tombi, Fujiwara turned his attention towards the development of the sequel Tombi 2, or Tomba 2, The Evil Swine Return. This time, however, Fujiwara passed
What a
the role of
tagline.
director to Kuniaki
I've always wondered
Kakuwa,
about whether
but
the
retained
evil
his
swine would return.
responsibilities as a developer to focus his full attention on creating another unique and revolutionary experience in the Tombi universe. This time Fujiwara implemented a three-dimensional polygonal design to allow for even greater expressive freedom. Using this method, Fujiwara was able to realize various systems
Suck my
and
dick,
mechanics
Prince
not
of Persia.
possible
Here
using
comes
the
Tombi
two-dimensional
2.
framework of the original Tombi, such as dynamic camera movement during cutscenes. During the platforming and action sections, the original 2D design was kept in order not to alienate those who enjoyed the previous game. Only the town sections found in the game featured fully 3D-oriented gameplay. Tombi 2 featured brand new composers as well. Shiina Ozawa composed the soundtrack for the Japanese version, while Ashif Hakik composed the soundtrack for the international version of the game. Tombi 2 also featured full voice acting, something not seen in the first game. This, coupled with all of the positive changes, would make Tombi 2 a true standout in the genre. Released on October 28, 1999 in Japan, North America on January 18th, 2000, and in Europe on June 16th, 2000, Tombi 2 had quite a lot going for it and received positive reviews from critics, praising its intricate yet accessible challenging gameplay and variations in the game's side stories and item quests. With improvements made to the controls, inventory, user interface, and the right amount of consistency with the previous title, Tombi 2 was beloved by its fans. While it was well received by the fan base, the sales numbers tell a different story.
I like the dark music for this.
Tombi 2 sold
It's very similar,
160,000 copies in North America, 110,000 copies in Europe, 20,000 copies in other regions, and an estimated 60 to 80,000 copies
Yeah, that's
in
almost
Japan,
exactly the
which
same,
is
isn't
slightly
it?
more than the original game sold. These numbers are not healthy in financial terms to keep making more sequels, and unfortunately, this led to the eventual disbanding of Whoopee Camp, and much of its staff moved to Access Games that specializes in the planning, development, and distribution of video games. Still, the question remains, how did a team led by Tokuro Fujiwara, someone with a decade and a half of development experience, release two commercially unsuccessful video games? Let's break things down step
How?
by step.
What do you mean, how? Well, he made a video game, then he released it.
Both Tombi games had low budgets, estimated at 5 to 6 figures. This low budget could have limited the marketing and promotion needed to spread the word about a new IP. If you compare this budget to one of the bigger PS1 games at the time, Final Fantasy VII, which had an estimated budget of $40 million, we can
Has Matt
begin to
done a video on
understand
it?
how
I
such
don't
a
know.
limited budget can influence the reach of Tombi and Tombi 2. While both games did have a limited marketing campaign, it's safe to assume that the majority of the budget allocated was spent on development of the games. Marketing and advertising are crucial to the success when promoting a new IP.
They are.
There was a promotional Tombi VHS tape shown in
If you ever
Japanese
wonder why you
stores
don't have
and
more
various
success, and you
merchandise
think
such
it's
as
because
Tombi
my
and
stuff
gift
isn't good enough
plushies,
yet.
T-shirts,
Nope,
phone
it's
cards,
marketing.
postcards, etc. It's hard to say what positive
It's more important for
effect
people to
those
talk about
attempts
you
had
than
on
it
the
is to
game
make something
overall.
that's good. Which is why so many very, very popular channels
So as you
or
know by
anything
now, these
are
games
actually
were under the name
like they're
Tombi in
garbage.
Europe and Tomba in both North America and Japan. There was a speculation by Erik Engström of Hardcore Gaming 101 stating that the name change was motivated by the fact that Tomba is an Italian word meaning grave, thus prompting alternative branding to Tombi. Although understandable to an extent, it's hard to count out the possibility of this confusing many potential customers. Not a deal breaker, but I do not think it helped the situation any further. Like imagine if Mario
Okay,
was
so
called
Tomba
Mario
is the
in
actual
Europe
name
and
of it,
Mario in
I'm
other
guessing.
continents. That would be confusing,
Wait,
right?
what'd he say?
Mario in Europe and Mario in other continents.
Really?
That
Oh,
would
okay,
be
okay.
confusing,
Imagine, alright. That would be very confusing. Mario?
Tombi as an intellectual property is an interesting one. Many people regard
Can I go back for a second? Hold on.
Tombi as an intellectual
This image with the phrase intellectual property is quite funny to me.
property is an interesting one. Many people regarded it as too wacky and maybe even a bit weird.
Am I popular
which
because
made
of the
it a hard
marketing division?
sell.
No,
There
I'm
were
popular
many
because
other
people talked
competitors
about
at
me.
the time in the realm of similar platform-type games, both 2D and 3D, such as Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Mega Man, and Rayman.
The best kind of marketing is
And
whenever
who you
people
can truly
talk about
blame?
you.
From the consumer's perspective, I think the choice was
You can
obvious
take out
for
a
many
million
potential
billboards and it won't
buyers.
matter.
Would you
What really
rather
matters
buy a
is other
game
people
starring a
talking
cool
about you,
dragon,
making other people
Funky
around them aware that you
Bandicoot,
exist.
Or a half-naked boy with a pink hair? The design choice was risky for Tombi, and thus it alienated a lot of potential customers to spend their money on other games instead.
Basically, he's saying that it looked like it would be
Many
bad.
speculate the timing for both Tombi games was questionable at best. In the late 1990s, true 3D games were rising in popularity. While Tombi 2 did feature some 3D aspects and sections, both of the games were still 2.5D titles. It's worth considering if Tombi and Tombi 2 would have seen more success if not surrounded by so many great 3D experiences in a time when many consumers were more interested in that overall.
It really sounds like he's making excuses. It's a wonder that this game that didn't appeal to customers, and didn't appeal to customers at that time, and looked worse than other games. Like, if only there weren't better games with better marketing that were created in an era in which people wanted games that like that were not present at the time that this far worse game was made. It's a wonder. Yeah, who could have guessed?
This is further emphasized by the release of Rayman, released on September 1st, 1995, selling over 3 million copies on the original PlayStation alone.
Yeah, I don't see how you can make a
There was
video
always
being
a
mystified
possibility
that a
Whoopi
game
Camp
that you
could
think is
collaborate
bad
together with
or
Capcom for
mediocre
better
in
success
various
with
ways
the Tombi IP.
didn't do
Other
better.
game companies like Orica had a strong relationship with Capcom, as for example, they were able to use Street Fighter IP and characters
This
in their
video
Street
should not be
Fighter
called The Rise
EX
and
series
Fall
of
of
games
Tomba.
for the
It should be
PlayStation,
just Tomba
which helped their
sucks.
sales numbers. Fujiwara,
Or why did
however,
they make
had this
Tomba?
to say about collaborating with Capcom. Fundamentally, I have left Capcom and as such have completely cut all business relations with them. That's not to say that we can't ever do any business with them. After having just gone through the trouble of leaving though, I'd like to try going alone. It's possible that we might do something with Capcom in the future, but we have no plans to do so now. To
Okay.
summarize, the Tombi series was beloved by fans, ambitious and revolutionary to an extent. There
It
were
was not.
obvious problems along the
None
way,
of what he
such
just
as
said
low
is true.
marketing budget, renaming the game per region, the release timing, lack of collaboration,
Beloved by
and the
all
drastic leaps
of its
into
100,000
3D video
people
games
that
many
bought
of its
it.
competitors were already taking. You may wonder how Tokuro Fujiwara has done since
It
the release of
revolutionized
Tombi
the
and
industry,
Tombi
even
2.
though I just
am happy
admitted
to
that
say he
other
has
games
gone
were
on to
using
work on a
things
variety of other projects, such as
and were
directing
using new
Ultimate
3D
Ghosts and
technologies
Goblins,
in a way that
developed
this
by
game did not.
Tosei in 2006, original game design on Mad World, developed by Platinum Games in 2009, and many others. We have even seen a revival of Fujiwara's company Whoopi Camp to allow him to become a consultant for various companies and projects throughout the gaming industry. Also, the 2020 release of Ghosts and
Yeah,
Goblins
it's neck
Resurrection
before neck.
had the Whoopi Camp logo found in the credits, which is a cool thing to see after all these years. Despite the lack of commercial success of Tombi and Tombi 2, Tokuro Fujiwara has gone on to make a lifelong career working on many of the games we have come love. And in 2021,
Like, is the entire plot of this game basically just a caveman that
one
doesn't
of the
like
most beloved
pigs?
people known in the gaming industry as a whole. That's it, folks. Thank you so much
Fantastic.
for watching. My name is Apodix, and I hope you have a wonderful...
Why did he make that video? I think that's a better question, not just why did they make Tomba and Tomba 2, but also why did that content creator just make a video about it? That's the biggest mystery. Something tells me he probably played that game whenever he was 11 years old. That's probably the answer. Did that company make anything else? Apparently not. Yeah, this is someone repairing a kayak. That's what this entire video is. And it's going to be almost 20 minutes long. Strap in. Enjoy yourselves. I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves about whenever developers make... Damn it, he talks. That's one of my biggest pet peeves about people that make video games. It's whenever you come across a developer that clearly does not care about storytelling. He doesn't care about, like, art design. He just has some inane idea, like that guy that we just covered. He just wanted to make an action game. And you could tell that he didn't give a shit about the other components of it, which is most of the reason why it failed. Like, sure, maybe it was mechanically transformative in some way. It doesn't matter. People don't care about what it looks like and what it feels like and what the story is or whatever else. You can always tell. You can tell that you have a developer that has one thing that he cares about, and all the other is just garbage that he puts off on other people.
Kayaks tend to break all the time. It just comes with the sport. They get bashed up on rocks. They wear out from sliding.
Because I've always obviously been really big in the world building and characters and stuff like that.
Of some of the rivers. And,
so developers that think it doesn't matter. Okay, enjoy your huge financial loss. You deserved it.
Today I'm going to show you the easiest way to weld with just some few simple tools. There's definitely a bunch of ways to do this. I mean, there are some that you can do on the fly without electricity.
This guy dresses like 90% of Americans, by the way.
And there are ways to use a campfire and some common, utensils. Spoons,
I know
forks,
probably
stuff like that.
about 150 of this exact guy.
And G-Flex and all these other crazy
Link's wearing overalls in that world link. It's true.
duct tape welds and stuff like that. But I'm going to show you how to basically turn this thing back into brand.
I guess technically I don't have any world building about myself yet.
There's the crack.
Thank God.
This boat's been cracked a couple times. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill that out.
We're gonna drill this here hole out.
Takes more plastic, and then we'll fill in the whole area around it. So we'll build up the plastic.
Looks a bit like a watermelon.
What we're gonna do now.
I've built several worlds. No one cared about them.
Drill the crack out.
But then again, I had a platform of about 100 people at the time.
Like that, because the last thing you want to do is drill an unneeded hole in your seat, or damage the seat pan or seat rail in a manner where it rubs and wears through the plastic under your
Actually, he doesn't sound Southern. He sounds more like he's
Some of the kayak seat pans is if the padding
he sounds more like he is probably from Iowa.
The plastic on plastic tends to rub through and progressively
Maybe
wear
Minnesota.
alcohol on the inside. So
Like
then it
lower
becomes kinda
Minnesota.
like a double negative. But anyway, we'll take out the interior and start working on this thing right now. All right, so what you want to do at first is get the seat out. So upon further inspection, I realized they're Allen bolts. So
What do you mourn
just
Godforge?
like so, just unscrew
Oh,
them.
Godforge, yeah. I thought you were talking
Once
about
you get
Gage
going,
for a
they'll
second.
actually move kind of fast. There's a
Yeah,
plate
Godforge
inside
was
that
never really a
falls off
thing.
and falls down that has the screws. Now, if you're not going to take out the entire
I mean, those things still
interior, be
exist. They're
mindful
just
how
inside
you
of the Scary
unscrew
Lessons
these, 'cause
universe
usually just
now.
going to plop off and fall down once they're inside. Since I have to take the pan
Which
out,
I haven't gotten to.
makes no worry to me that they fall
And technically,
down by the
Godforge
pan.
is just the inheritor
Get
property
them.
to the
That was the
Nahala
lower pan.
project.
So now these bolts usually require a little bit of wiggling and finessing to get out. Sometimes you need to walk them through the threads a little bit more. Sometimes they go too high and they hit the cockpit rim.
You know what? You know what I miss? I miss
Other
the
than
guy
they
that
should
talked
just
about
pop
pill
out like
bugs.
so. So there you go. You got the rubber washes on top.
I'm gonna find him.
You got the other one right here. And then you get the rubber washers on the bottom. That helps, water seal and watertight the holes for the brackets in the boat. So usually just put these aside because you're going to need them when you put everything back together. You don't want to lose them. You're going to roll the boat over a couple times, throw everything back and forth. It's pretty easy to kick them around. And if you're in a pretty cluttered garage like I am, ending up under a lawnmower or behind a pile of bikes isn't necessarily that hard to do.
There he
and
is.
It could ruin your day and take a lot of time. But anyway.
Wait.
So
I
there's
added
one.
that, didn't I?
And here's two.
Yep, there he is. He's right
All
there.
Now that both seat
What if I can move it?
side brackets are undone,
Yes,
we
I
can go
can
ahead
move
and
it.
move the seat right out and move the pan, and then we can flip it over and start working on the weld. Sometimes you gotta whack it and turn them sideways a little bit. I've worked on this boat in the past, so it's not that hard.
I knew it was in there.
There we go. So just like that, make sure that the straps
All right.
are unconnected, and then you can go ahead and disconnect it from the seat pan itself. Okay, once you get that out, just knock that the rest of the way.
You know,
Fold
this
this
part I
into
don't
the
really
lip.
care too
You
much
don't
about
even need
this
to
part
take
where
the
he's
second
just
side out.
disassembling it. I'm more
What you
interested
wanna
in
do
him
is
actually
blend
doing the
it,
repair.
around into the natural hull as well as fill the crack. So we're gonna try working on that. Let me just put this in a different position, and then just kind of run your X-Acto knife down the edge a little bit, and just kind of round that edge off. That has cleaned up.
I wonder if
that
this is
crack
going to be
a
like
whole
the
lot
simplest
more.
thing
And I
ever.
know- minute. Well, first couple seconds, it's like a hair dryer, and then it starts getting really
Hair
cooking.
dryer.
I usually do it on the high setting and start to heat my stick before.
Something about this guy with his drawl.
And you'll start to
I'm gonna
notice
heat
that
my stick.
It'll get wet. It'll get real wet looking, and that's when it starts to get real soft and sticky and to the
Yeah, start
temperature
to
that you
look a
want
bit
to
like a
start
penis.
operating with and welding at. But the thing is, you don't want to get it too hot and
Oh,
too
like if
melted
your-
because
your-
you'll break
your
down the
penis
plastic,
standing to a very
and it
narrow
won't-
point.
It won't work as well.
If your penis had a very
So
narrow
what I'm gonna
point,
do now is continue to heat this.
the base was particularly large,
You'll start feeling it on the tip when it starts getting a little malleable. There it goes.
and whenever you're inside your
All right,
significant
and
other,
roll it,
you'd
too,
have to like do
because one side
circles so
will
that
stay
she
cooler
can
than
feel
the
it.
other, and then
Or
as you
I'm very
apply it,
open-minded.
It won't go on evenly. So you want to keep rolling it too as you apply it. So now I'm going to start heating the crack, and as you can see, those knurls and plastic splinters that were from the drilling are starting to melt away. And you can see the boat is starting to get a little shiny.
It looks like he's not doing anything.
Now, at first, you can hold the heat gun pretty close to the hull, and it won't really cause any worry. But as the boat starts to warm up, and you'll feel it, like it's starting to get hot. It's probably 100 degrees right now. Once it starts to feel a little sticky and tacky, don't hold it there long. These heat guns are extremely powerful, especially in a downward angle, because right now the breeze is blowing past this and going upwards. If you point it straight down, it blasts along the side of the hull and can really heat the hull up a lot quicker than you'll find, lightly hitting it every now and then.
Okay, I get the idea of this part.
So a little bit more on the... All right.
Oh, now he's doing it.
So moving right along.
Yeah, the guy's
Keeping the
taking too
hull at a
long.
good warm
This isn't
temperature.
like the...
Shouldn't be too hot.
Like, this was submitted. I was hoping that this would be a restoration video where they're, it's one of those, like, nice, calm, serene restoration videos. I wasn't expecting it to be some guy. It's the same idea, just not quite at the same production value.
Hot.
It's still kind of interesting, though. It really seems like all he's really doing is just melting this thing to make this crack not a crack. And that's pretty much it. And he's making a bit of a mess while he's doing it. Yeah, I don't think... Well, that's the thing. I don't think he's trying to be an entertainer. Okay.
I'm going to
Skip
grind
ahead.
and smooth. Move the seat pan out of the way.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He just used that adhesive stick. He melted the adhesive stick, filled in the crack, and now he's just going to sand it down. And that's the whole video.
I don't know how the view is. I had the rubber mallet, just applying pressure so when it dries, it, but, you can see some
I appreciate the
sanding
fact that he
marks,
did
some
it.
sanding coloration. Hit this with a little bit of heat, and it'll breathe a little more color back into it. And here
Is
we
he
are
going to
on
do
the
anything
outside.
as a finish?
In the butt to get these lined up with the holes on the inside of the seat pan. And so what I like to do is, as
probably
you saw,
isn't.
I got those connected. I feel them on their either side. They're not blocked in the way at all.
Okay,
by the
just
straps
show me
or
the
any
end
of
result,
seat
buddy.
pan in the wrong position.
He doesn't have an end
And
result
what I will do is-
image. It's really just him just tightening the bolts, and that's it. Yeah, I don't think he thought this through in terms of
Let's do the other side,
engagement
and
with the
we'll be
viewer.
100% wrapped up.
I'm kind of still entertained by it, though. The video was exactly what he promised it would be. Okay. Actually, hold on. Let's watch this one first. Then we'll do the other one, because this one's like 2 minutes
I know
long.
many of you are learning self-defense by watching my videos at youtube.com/enterthedojo show. And while you're all becoming dedicated students of Meridote,
Gray, are you not
you're
satisfied
doing
with
it
having your crack
right.
filled?
Your kill faces aren't lethal
I'm
enough.
sorry.
Your thrusts of freedom lack penetration, and your hurricanes are only hurting yourselves.
I'll have
I think
it
it's time we
myself
establish a
next time.
standard that you can all hold yourselves to, which is why I've created a new martial arts organization called Maintain Your Ameridote Street Skills, or for short, MyAss. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
If you're serious about learning Ameridote,
I was foolishly pronouncing it
you need to
Myas.
get in my ass. Unlike other martial arts organizations that charge hefty ongoing registration fees year after year, my ass has a one-time entry fee of $10. Some martial arts organizations practically force you to join, and then they're cold and distant. But I think you'll find my ass to be a warm and welcoming environment. Now, I understand that most of you already belong to these
I didn't see what the point of
If
that
you study Kempo, for instance, you're part of the AKKS, or the KAL, or the EPAC, or the J5.0.1.2.3. And if you study Taekwondo, you belong to the WTF, which is an acronym I agree with. To be honest, that's the first thing I thought when I saw Taekwondo. WTF is this bullshit. But my ass, the Maintain Your Ameridote Street Skills, is the only thing that's going to matter when push comes to shove. The eye gouge, headbutt. Oh, and the other good news is that once you're in my ass, you won't be alone. Just ask Todd. He was the first member to be in my ass, and now he keeps track of the membership. Todd, how's it looking in there?
Your ass is crowded.
You mean my ass?
Our ass is crowded.
I've got martial artists from all over the world.
I
in my
understand
ass.
this-
I've got
this
Taekwondo
one
people
joke
in my
that
ass.
they're doing.
Krav Maga people in my
appreciate
ass. Kempo people in my ass. Yesterday, I managed to fit 15 Filipino stick fighters in my ass. Which wasn't easy, let me tell you, because it's been a long day and I was tired. Then I pounded a Red Bull and packed all of them in there.
What he's saying doesn't even make any sense without the innuendo. Like, that made no sense in world. I'm glad that was a 2-minute long video as opposed to one that was like 12 minutes long. Although it could have been a movie. Okay, this is the video that I actually wanted to see. If you remember, we've had some kind of stinkers tonight, I feel. This guy's gonna bring it home, though. Because this is the guy that was making the terrarium for the isopods. And I'm hoping this is the follow-up where they have now made babies. He's the guy that rattled off like 100 names that he knew that isopods had for themselves. And I love his voice. He's a good boy. There are no spiders. Actually, there might be like one spider. No, there's not.
2 weeks ago, when I was cleaning the isopod terrarium, I saw some isopod babies. Now, this didn't come as a complete surprise, as I had seen an isopod with a filled brood pouch some days before that. Anyway, more on the babies later. I am going to completely clean the terrarium, including substrate, because over some time mold has started to develop. I kept cleaning the terrarium, but eventually some spores and bits of mold were left in the substrate, which resulted in me having to replace all the bark and leaves every week. So now I'm removing all the bark and leaves and placing the isopods in a temporary container.
They are cute babies.
And now comes the most annoying part.
Oh, I forgot. He has like
substrate. You may be wondering,
like, imagine what this guy must look like hearing his voice. My favorite thing about it, look at his perfect, like, baby hands. I don't understand it.
and now
like, is he just a 14-year-old boy with a really weird voice?
Substrate. You may be wondering, why is that so annoying? Well, here's why. A lot of isopods, including babies, just love to walk around in there, and they're very easy to miss. To overcome this, I go through every piece of substrate and make sure there's no isopods on it, and then throw it away. These are pieces of coconut husk. The substrate consists of coconut husk and coconut fiber. Even though this method is very time consuming, it is worth it because it's very effective.
What accent does he have?
The isopods that were in here kept trying to escape, even though they never
He sounds
succeeded
Northern
because
European
the
in
edges
some
were
way,
too steep
but I can't
and they'd
place it.
fall off. I decided to give the isopods a piece of carrot and some bark to make them stop doing that. Here you can see 2 isopods already grazing on the bark, and they're all interested and exploring, so the diversion worked.
They are cute. I like isopods. Yeah, that's why I say that. He sounds like a little bit Nordic, or maybe no, that doesn't make any sense. I have no idea.
I still haven't
He's a
caught all
mystery.
of them yet. Jackpot.
He has a weird sense of humor too. Like, he's just so flat and dry that whenever he says something, it hits weirdly.
Of some babies as well. Now that all the substrate is out of the terrarium, I can clean it. I started this colony a few months ago with 12
The giant
adult
isopod?
isopods. I would like to know how
Like
many
the
there
actual-
are now. Do you want to count together
Yes.
with me? 1, 2, 3,
Ooh.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow, 12 adult isopods. That means they're all still alive. Isopods have a life expectancy of approximately 2 years. So that means all the isopods have lived about 15% of their lives in this colony.
He has merch.
Wow. After I've added new
He has a list
substrate
of what
and
they're
baked
known
leaves
as
and
down
bark,
here. It is so
I
cute.
added the isopods to their clean terrarium, which they made really easy for me.
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about where he's from.
This isopod has a different color.
But
It's
his name
sort
is
of
Life in
brown
Jars with a
reddish
question
with
mark.
spots of normal isopod color. Very pretty. This is a baby isopod. It gives me horror flashbacks of parasitic isopods.
Okay. Yeah, the channel itself, maybe. Hold on. About. No.
Here's a few babies together.
Here's a few babies together. Babies. Welcome back, Sharkface. We're watching
A day
Isopods
later,
again.
the isopods have settled into their newly furnished home.
Netherlands? Oh, did it say? I didn't notice it. Thanks you guys for actually noticing.
Now let's talk about these babies.
I was trying not to spend too much
Where
time
do they
looking
come
at every
from?
element of the page.
Well, I will explain that to you in full detail. Let's
Full
start with the mating behavior. As isopods mate in total darkness. Wait, did I already tell you
they're
that
ashamed of
these
their
specific
bodies.
isopods are Procellio I feel like I should mention that somewhere in the video.
That's how you know you're really
As
close to someone.
isopods mate
When
in
you
total
can fuck in the
darkness,
light.
I don't have any footage to show you, which is probably for the better. I do, however, have
To
a
look at
very
each other's
powerful
horrifying
tool at my
bodies in full
disposal,
display.
your imagination. So, why don't you close your eyes and try to see what I'm
Horrifying.
telling you? Come on, close them. Okay, here we go. When a male isopod sees a female that he thinks wants to mate, he starts to flirt a little. He starts dancing around with his antennae and eventually lets them rest on top of the female. If at this point she isn't scared away by his terrible moves, he climbs on top of her. There he spends a few minutes licking her head and tapping on her back with his front legs. Then
Aw,
he
how
moves
romantic.
to one side of the female and bends his body under her in order to transfer sperm with his two penises in her genital opening on the opposite side. This transfer takes a few minutes. Are you
I
still
should hope so.
following? When this step is completed, it is repeated on the other side, because just like the males, females have twice the amount of reproductive organs as us humans, of which I am also one. After all of this, she pregnant.
I forgot about that.
Well, okay, technically not.
I am
but
also
I
a
just really
human.
wanted to say she pregnant. The sperm is stored and used to
Wait,
fertilize
do that
eggs,
again.
which
Hold on.
are shed soon.
Now they go. You have to go back.
Well, okay, technically not, but I just really wanted to say she pregnant. The sperm is also
What was the context of
on
that?
the other side, because just like the males, females have twice the amount of reproductive organs as us humans, of which I am also one. After all of this, she pregnant. Well, okay, technically not, but I just really wanted to say she pregnant. The sperm is stored and used to fertilize eggs, which are shed soon after a female molts. The eggs are brooded by the female, just like any proper crustacean would do in a brood pouch called the marsupium. Marsupial females
Sky.
also have a marsupium, which is why they're called marsupials. Interestingly enough, the conditions in the marsupium of aquatic and terrestrial isopods don't differ. Both are filled with water. After 6 to 7 weeks, nymphs are born, which stay in the marsupium for a few more days. The nymphs only have 6 segments in the thorax and 6 pairs of legs. After the first molt, they get the 7th segment and 7th pair of legs, just like adults. And
Big
that's
dudes.
how you get the baby isopods you saw roaming around earlier. You can open your eyes now, but you already did, didn't you? Now that we talked
I was hoping
about
he would
isopod
reprimand everyone.
reproduction, could you tell me what these are? No, they're lungs, you dirty animal. Speaking of dirty animals, isopods poop a lot, which is also a reason I would have completely cleaned the terrarium by now anyway, if it weren't for the mold. The isopods don't really mind the mold anyway. They eat it in fact, but it's just not aesthetically pleasing. If you weren't in love with terrestrial isopods after my previous isopod video, you're a little weird. But if you aren't in love with them after seeing these isopod bebes, you're crazy.
You're crazy. You must not be a human, as I am. I am also a human. Show more babies.
Well, I suppose that's about it for today. I will end this video with some older footage of isopods eating some carrot. If you want to see more of these videos, well, you're going to have to subscribe, blah 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 blah. Thanks for watching.
I like the light jazz music in the background of all these videos. Something very satisfying about watching that little bitty bug eat at this giant piece of a carrot slice. Just making little bitty nom-noms. Hey, that's mine. Get the fuck out of here. This thing's the size of a country and you're eating the one piece that I want. Oh, it's gonna be over? Oh well. It was good while it lasted. Dude, I like isopods. I also love isopods now. Okay. Not that. This. Yes, this. Ah, there it is. Trying to figure out where it was. Okay, big kitty now. Big kitty. Oh, I'm glad I managed to get through that. I felt like I was gonna fall asleep in the first 40 minutes for some reason. Okay. They worked out pretty well. Looks like she's up to something. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys over to Edie. She is playing that weird what's-it game. The quarry. The thing we were talking about earlier on. So, you guys go say hello to page 2, basically is what she is. She'll probably be pleased as punch, unless she's drinking. Now, she was drinking yesterday. Because I think yesterday was... No. She was drinking on Sunday. Or maybe Monday. I can't remember. She drinks a lot. Which is fine. Not my life decision, it's hers. Okay, you guys go over there. Have a good time over there. I'm going to get some food of some sort. Probably some Impossible nuggets, if I had to take a wild guess. I'll figure it out. Or I could slice up that watermelon that I have. I'll forget about it otherwise. Okay, but anyways. I'll see you guys tomorrow, in all likelihood. And we will do something then. It'll be some sort of video game, I think. Okay, I'll figure it out, though. Alright. See you guys then. Bye-bye. Dun, 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 dun.